Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Tim Vixay with my crippled friend, and we are recording, well, live for us, but not for you guys. Down here in DeLand, Florida, the tour of Florida kind of continues. And I'm down here, and I get to do this next episode with probably one of my oldest crippled friends. His name's Chris Hall. He is a longtime rugby player. He does a bunch of other shit as well. He's actually a Floridian native,
Yeah, Florida cracker.
and we've known each other, I want to say since 2010, so we're going to call it 10 years.
Yeah,
About,
10 years
give or take.
sounds right. Yeah.
So, what's going on, man? I don't know if did I mention you're an Army veteran?
No, yeah,
He's
Army
also,
veteran.
He's also a Army veteran, but we can talk about that later.
Yeah.
What's going on, dude?
Man, life is good, dude. Just moved back to Florida, expecting a baby, got married.
This is all within 1 year.
Yeah, all within the
Big
last
changes,
year.
man. Big changes.
Yeah, life is really moving fast for me the last couple of years, and it's exciting. It's
You
great.
enjoying the ride?
I am, man. Yeah. You
Yeah.
know, there's something to do every day. The wife is only a couple of months away from ready to pop, so we're getting baby room painted and getting car seats and planning baby showers and
Now, have
doing
you
all that
always
exciting
kind of
stuff.
wanted to be a father? Or?
I have, yeah. It's been a big goal of mine to be a family
Yeah.
guy. Yeah, I
Pretty
feel
excited because you're gonna have a daughter. Were you pretty excited?
Yeah,
about
yeah.
that, or-
And actually really surprised that we're gonna have a daughter because we had to do in vitro fertilization, and the chances of having a daughter is actually really low, and getting pregnant the first try is actually really low. So it was in the less than 40% chance of getting pregnant the first time, and then 80% are boys. So 40 and 80. I don't know what the math is there, but it's
Either I'm one of the dumb Asians, so I can't
same.
math like that
So
right now.
the percentages of having a girl on the first try is just unheard of. So
Did you go and buy yourself a scratch it?
yeah,
You
yeah,
found
we
out?
actually did. We won like $5. We didn't win anything major.
Good.
but-
Put it towards the baby's college fund.
yeah, exactly. But
Might pay
yeah,
for a candy
super
bar.
excited to have a girl. I feel like I'm gonna get to impart some of the.
Well,
The wisdom.
shout out to little Penelope Hull if she ever listens to this when she's older.
Yeah, we're talking about you now, and
If
you're
I
not
don't-
even here yet.
If I don't get canceled by then, so we'll see what happens. But man, no, dude, I'm excited to do this episode just because like you've been a pretty good friend of mine for a while, man. I was actually supposed to be the best man at your wedding, and I'm gonna just apologize straight up right now for that because I ended up having to go to Colombia that same weekend,
Yeah.
that same week. And you guys ended up getting married in Amsterdam, but how was that experience?
It was great, and we understand travel conflicts and stuff like that. You were at our official wedding at the courthouse.
Oh
which was-
yeah, I was.
is
Yeah,
amazing.
I even dressed up. I wore because your wife is technically Canadian.
Yeah, she
so-
is. Yeah, definitely Canadian. Yeah,
So
Dutch Canadian. Yeah,
No, yeah, she's definitely Canadian. So I wore my best Canadian tuxedo.
and you looked fabulous with your mullet and your Canadian tuxedo.
Fit right in, man.
We have some great pictures from the courthouse wedding. So yeah, Ash and I we did the courthouse wedding in March, and then her family is from the Netherlands and she's Dutch. She has some family over there still. So we decided to do our official ceremony there while we were there for the Amsterdam rugby tournament.
Mm-hmm.
The teammates that we took with us joined us for the wedding, and some of her family and her dad was able to come over. Some of the referees, and so it was kind of like the
That's
rugby.
beautiful.
It was like the
man.
rugby community, and then her family, maybe 15 people. We found the side of a lake somewhere, and we just did a little ceremony with.
You didn't research any joints before you went, or
We did, and then we just ended up finding this public park that was walking distance from the hotel we stayed at,
right.
and we actually had Mike Klanowski, who was our coach, big supporter.
Shout out to Big Mike.
Yeah, Mike Klanowski, USQRA secretary.
Extraordinaire. man,
Extraordinaire,
for real,
yeah.
And he's single, ladies.
Coach, referee, he's a good dude.
Yeah, he's straight up just being a bachelor in Chicago. So
He actually wrote us a beautiful, beautiful speech to do our vows with, and he he teared us all up because he was he did.
I don't know if
really
a lot
great
of
job.
people know Mike Klinowski, but he's actually got like one of the biggest hearts.
He is a huge,
huge
huge
he
heart
just
guy.
lets you know how he feels, and just like the guy's just full of love.
Yeah.
And
I
he
really
just irradiates.
I actually miss Mike. That's one of the biggest
Yeah.
things I miss about living in Chicago is hanging out with Mike Klinowski at Chicago Bears wheelchair rugby practice. I miss that guy quite a bit. I'm excited to see him coming up at nationals.
Yeah, he's always one of the ones too. Like we went to Argentina together.
Yeah.
We went to Colombia. Like he's always down to
Yeah.
travel.
Amsterdam. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he's got the time and the ability to do so. So
and he loves the game of rugby too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm trying to remember the first time how I actually met Mike, but it must have been when the militia got together and I started going to the Midwest tournaments because
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it's changed, but like back when I first started playing, we kind of stayed a lot more in the region.
Same with me. Yeah,
So-
when I started playing in Jacksonville, we played Atlanta and the Carolinas and
all
Tampa
the time, right?
and
Yeah.
South Florida. We didn't really go outside of
Maybe Lakeshore.
Yeah, or we'd see maybe Pittsburgh or somebody like that.
Mhm.
Somebody on the East Coast. East Coast and West Coast really didn't mix. It was kind of like the rap scene in the 90s.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, no, it kind of was. Because I remember the first time I went to Team Force tryouts, and like Gumby, it might have been Gumby, or it might have been Troy, but I think it was Gumby. He was like, "Hey, we're gonna we're just doing 4-on-4s," and he's like, "Tim, I want you to just take out Peacock this whole time, right?"
Yeah.
And I'm looking out
Who
there,
the fuck is Peacock?
and I thought Peacock was a nickname for C.J. Brown because he kind of looks like a peacock.
Yeah.
And so the whole
Skinny
time
fucking
I'm chasing
vulture.
around, and and they're both deuces, but the
Yeah.
difference in speed between Peacock and CJ.
Huge difference.
So I'm out here chasing around one of the fastest deuces there is, And
Yeah.
then I get back in the huddle, and Gumby's like, "What the fuck are you doing?
That's
told
the
you to
wrong
get Peacock."
guy.
I'm like, "Yeah, Peacock." He's like, "No, that's CJ. This is Peacock. This is Mike." I was just like, "Oh."
Yeah, for the longest time, man, in my early rugby career, I had no idea who was on these West Coast teams, and even a lot of the Midwest teams. I had no idea. We played the East Coast teams, and that was it.
Dude, when my rugby career really kind of accelerated was after the 2013 Vet Games in Tampa.
Yeah.
By then, I'd known you for about 3 years, and we were pretty good friends. And I was like, dude, you were living up in Jacksonville. I was like, how about after Tampa, I just come out to your place for a month and just kick it. And that was kind of when I don't want to say I fell in love with Florida, but it was my first time in Florida. It was my big Florida experience, and just living out with you in Jacksonville, and then because I wanted to stay and go to the SummerSlam, the Jacksonville SummerSlam,
Yeah. We had a good time.
and then just mixing it up with. Every East Coast team. There's Shepherd had a strong presence. That's when I met Ronnie Adams.
Yeah.
That's when that's when I met DJ.
Yeah, some of those
I didn't
summer
know any
tournaments
of
were
these
you
guys.
just play together with other
It's
teammates
just fun, right?
is some of the funnest times we've had for sure.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking forward. I don't know if we've actually solidified anything, but the militia mayhem is what we call it, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, just any of the SummerSlam tournaments are fun.
For
for
sure.
me, I have access to low point tournaments, so that's pretty cool too.
Right.
But yeah, the SummerSlam is just mixing it up with our dudes and just banging around. So.
Yeah, it'd be nice. The new team that I'm with this year, he's constantly wanting to do new stuff. The guy who runs our foundation, Mike Delansky, he's always ready. This is their first year in the league, and we've already hosted a tournament and hosting sectionals.
You guys are
this
going to
year.
host sectionals, which is
huge. So he's really down to host anything. So he may be willing to host something in Tampa over the summer as a SummerSlam kind of thing.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe you might be able to do something to kind of set it apart too. Hey, we got low point tournaments. Why don't you guys do a high point tournament?
And that's something we've been talking about for a long time. Well, not really a long time, actually, just the last year or so. Doing spinal cord injury only tournaments.
Oh, I can get behind that. Just because I'm Club SCI.
Yeah. Well, and you know how much the rugby league has changed with allowing quad amputees and cerebral palsy and people with different
amps,
different abilities to play.
MS,
and
MD.
it's been great for the expansion of the sport, but unfortunately, what it's done is the spinal cord injury has really become a novelty in the sport.
They're dinosaurs, man.
Low pointers.
I mean, okay, name an SCI high pointer.
There isn't one
on an international team.
There isn't one.
Toby's the only one I can think of from.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah. Well, and not even at the international level, even at the USQRA level in the States, we're talking about Division I teams, even a lot of Division II teams now. You cannot compete in quad rugby without having a freak, as you call it, somebody who's not a spinal cord injury.
The
high
PC term is function.
Yeah, function.
But freak and I actually have one I call mutants.
Mutants, yeah.
Yeah, so there's actually a difference between freaks and mutants. They're both kind of similar, but the mutants are by birth.
Born that way.
Yeah.
Lady Gaga says they were born that way.
Yeah, mutants.
Which,
I mean, that's not like, I'm not trying to be like, I'm not a mutinous or anything, but it's, I grew up watching X-Men. Like, mutants are fucking cool. Like, I hope they take over the world. Like,
I love that we've expanded wheelchair rugby to include more people, but I don't like that it's gotten to the point where it excludes some. Right?
It does. It totally does.
The spinal cord high pointer is no longer able to play.
Right.
If you really look at a competitive level, Division I, Division II, a 3 or a 2-5 spinal cord injury really doesn't have a place on a wheelchair rugby team anymore.
I don't think we're that far away from having 3 divisions.
Yeah.
In rugby, like, especially if you're gonna look at. I don't want to speculate because I don't have my like ear to the league as heavy as I used to, but like it seems like there's going to be some strong teams in Division II. I mean, from that we were just at the Jacksonville tournament.
Yeah.
And like I think
Atlanta, Lakeshore,
probably going to be D2?
It's gonna be tough with tier. I think because in Houston they beat Tampa, and Tampa is still ranked in the top 6.
Okay.
The last rankings put tier in Division I, which I think they belong there.
I would agree.
I think they belong there. I don't think Shepherd belongs in D1.
So D2, strong as hell.
Still a strong squad.
What about Lakeshore?
Lakeshore belongs at the top of D2. Unfortunately, they've got some issues with some players that didn't qualify for postseason. Some of their starting players.
Call them out.
Yeah, Dell McMillan did not qualify.
Didn't get his games in,
from what I heard, he didn't get his previous.
You could always do the medical exemption thing.
I know that Josh was going to do medical exemption because he broke his leg, so that can help them. But from what I've heard, also
Lakeshore had a kind of a spell there where I think 3 guys broke their leg.
Oh, really? Yeah, it was Eddie Crouch, right? Didn't Eddie?
Oh, I didn't hear Eddie. Did Eddie?
No, maybe that was somebody else.
Josh Baronato broke his leg.
Yeah.
Somehow, I forget the story. Then Roberts.
And
Mason.
Oh yeah, Mason.
It was all like.
Yeah. The other guy that I knew broke his leg was Nick Long from Grand Rapids.
Hotel
broke
transfer.
his femur. Yeah. Falling out of bed.
Al Kovac broke his leg transferring into bed while we were down in Bon Air.
Yeah.
And I think it was his left leg. It was his legs are skinny.
Yeah.
And that one blew up, man. It looked like
Al Kovac, previous president.
Yeah.
PVA.
Yeah.
Nice.
And the whole time he's just like, I think I just got I think I brushed up on some jellyfish.
Did he go diving with you guys in Bon Air?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, with the life waters group.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was my first time I went to Bon Air because I went to Bon Air twice
in the last couple of years.
Just in 2019. I know first time I went there, I was like, I had no idea where it was.
You have been traveling a lot.
70 clicks above Venezuela,
What, since 2016? Man,
I hit a streak.
You've been on the road nonstop, basically.
16 was kind of when things kind of started going crazy because I went to Colombia and I just fell in love with international travel. And
right.
I mean, you and I had the chance, 18?
Yeah.
18,
was it Bali for 18?
Yeah, I went to Bali, but I mean, by way of Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
And then Kuala Lumpur.
Well, in the summer before that, we went to Argentina.
17.
In 17.
Yeah. That was more fall time.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that was 17.
Well,
16 we
between
went to Colombia, Argentina. No, we went to Argentina 16.
yeah,
We went to
between
Colum- we went
16
to
and
Colombia
19, you and I did a lot of traveling together.
Yeah, man, it was a lot of fun.
At one point, you told me you had pooped over every ocean
Pretty damn
on an
close.
airplane.
Yeah, man, I pretty much the only one I don't think I've gotten yet is the Atlantic.
Yeah.
I haven't really gone that way a whole lot of times.
Well, we went to Amsterdam once, right? You went to Amsterdam.
I didn't
with
go
me.
to Amsterdam. No,
You never did go to Amsterdam?
The only place I went to Europe in was Switzerland.
Oh yeah, with the
Team Force.
Team Force.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to Amsterdam twice with rugby, and you haven't come either time.
No, yeah.
That's surprising.
I've had some layovers and everything, but no, it's definitely on my list. Yeah, Amsterdam. I've gotten in contact with some of the Norwegian teams.
Poland.
Scandinavian teams. So
Yeah.
Finland,
Poland's been looking for people to come.
Poland too as well.
Spain, they're developing.
Czech Republic is looking a little bit. So.
Yeah, I keep looking for an email from Spain. I actually talked to the guy in Amsterdam this year about bringing an American group over to do a clinic with them, and they're right in Barcelona. And I would love Barcelona. I would love to go over to Spain for a trip.
All over Spain, though, man.
Yeah, and do.
Yeah. Plus, we got a friend that's from Spain that we met in Bali.
Oh yeah,
Juan Romero.
Juan. It takes Juan to know Juan.
Juan's so hot too. Basketball, Juan.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that was when we went to Bali, man. I remember thinking a lot of times, man, especially when I was just laying in bed at night, just thinking dude, I don't know, it's 10 p.m. here and it's whatever, 7 a.m. back home.
Yeah.
We're on the completely opposite side of the world, different hemispheres, toilets flush the other way. I can't believe this is real.
Right, and that was the thing with all the travel we did. That's those couple of summers or that year in a row. It was man, we went to 4 different continents and 5 different countries.
Yeah,
it was pretty.
And just
epic.
meeting we became pretty good friends with those Aussies.
Yeah,
some of the Aussie basketball players, and then the students that were just interning from London.
I think one of the best things you can do as a person is travel and experience different cultures. If whether you have the money or the time or not, it's just to take the time to experience how other people live.
Oh, 100%.
And it really affects your life.
What was the craziest shit you think you saw in Bali? Just.
Well, I mean, just
watching them kids just driving around on the mopeds.
Yeah, oh man, yeah, and a whole entire families on a moped, a single moped.
You had an entire family.
4
tree.
people.
You had an entire family tree.
Grandma,
on a 50
baby, dad,
3
mom.
generations.
Yeah,
you had 3 generations of Asians.
Yeah, on one moped. It was amazing to see, and just a level of. I don't want to say poverty because we have poverty here and we see it. It's in our face, but we kind of
third world experience, man. Get outside that first world bubble.
We do kind of forget about poverty here in the States because it's hidden from us. You know, they try and keep homeless people off the street.
Even though even the poverty we have here, it's
you're still eating.
You still got a flushing toilet.
Right.
You got clean water out of the tap.
Yeah.
Where some of these countries, it's we got to hike for water.
Right, and you're living down by the river, and if you don't catch a fish that day, you're not eating.
Or even just, I've been in some places where it's just the trash.
Yeah, garbage.
Man, there's just plastic everywhere.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that the idea of putting trash and recycling hasn't got to a lot of the rest of the world because I think that's the biggest problem with pollution that we have. Is that people are just putting their trash wherever they want in some of these countries. I think we're pretty conscious in America about let's put our trash in the trash can and make sure it makes it to the dump and let's not throw it straight in the river anymore.
But also it's with us, it's just it's kind of it's magic where
it just kind of disappears.
And it goes in the bin, then the bin goes on the street.
There's somebody to take it.
Somebody just takes it away and
right.
It's not my problem anymore.
Yeah.
And then, there's a lot of times.
So maybe we're not as conscious as we think we are.
Where we sell, or not Yeah, we sell some of our recycling over to like countries like India,
Yeah.
and then a lot of it's just contaminated with trash, and they can't
They can't even use it.
recycle it.
Right.
And now they end up with our trash. But no, I agree because I mean most of the trash that's ending up in the oceans coming out from Asian
Being
countries.
thrown straight into the river or straight into the
right.
yeah. And we think ourselves better because obviously we're not throwing trash out the window of our cars anymore. But
You still see idiots that throw cigarette butts out. And it's like people don't realize that, hey, that's considered littering as well.
yeah, are we
Like,
really
might
that
just
much
be-
better though? Are we really? Because I mean, we are putting it in a dump, but the wind's blowing it away, and it's ending up in the river and the ocean anyway. So
I'm just surprised we haven't solved the solution. Like,
yeah,
find a way, turn it into energy.
well, and the
something.
best thing I read was I'm pretty sure it was Switzerland. If not, it was Denmark. They take all of their trash and burn it for energy.
Yeah.
Like that makes sense to me. We're not using it anymore.
I'm just wondering what they do with the CO2 and everything.
right.
But
Yeah. Then you got to worry about.
I
carbon
mean, it's
emissions.
just, dude, like I don't know what the answer is, but we have to figure something out.
Right. Well, to solve the greenhouse emission problems and the trash problem, and there's got to be a simpler solution.
Oh,
because
I got it.
all matter is
I got it, but no
creative.
one will ever get on board.
Yeah, I'd love to hear
Soylent Green.
it. Start eating people.
You have to. We're overpopulated.
Yeah. Well, we could always adopt a one baby policy like China.
It didn't work because now like you got these old Chinese ladies that are pimping out their boys because women are so limited.
Yeah.
So no, straight up, dude. I watched a Vice piece about this. Like these Chinese ladies will straight up have flyers, almost like an old school kind of Tinder thing
for their sons.
And they'll just go sit in parks with a stack of flyers. I wish I was making this up. This is no shit.
Wow.
And they find a pretty lady and they're like, hey, my boy,
You
he's
want-
a banker.
you want sex?
He
You want
makes
you want
no,
baby?
No, he makes $400,000 a year. He's got his own car. He's got
Oh, okay. So
400
the women there's so many women.
It's a buyer's market.
So that there's so few men, right?
No, there's way more men.
Oh, so there's
than
so
there
many
are
men
ladies.
that the men are having to sell themselves.
They
to
gotta
women.
they gotta compete.
Okay,
They
I
gotta
see.
compete. Yeah.
I mean,
Which I mean, that's the way it should be, right?
That's the way society's been forever.
Is that why America is overpopulated?
What have you ever done that wasn't to impress a woman in your entire life? I mean, think about it. All culture, all.
Dude, I don't even know where I stand anymore because it's like the things I do are for like self-satisfaction.
Yeah.
I'd say the split would probably be about 20-80.
20-80 for self-satisfaction. 80.
80 for sure.
80. Yeah.
20 every now and then just to be like,
I think
do it for the gram, but a lot of it's just like.
I think the older you get, the more you start realizing that it's less about satisfying somebody else and more about satisfying yourself and finding that value in your own life instead of hoping for a woman to fulfill you or something.
I don't know if those are the right words, but it's just with me, like, I don't know, I just feel like I'm just such like an independent person.
Yeah.
Where I don't want to ever feel like I'm being tied down or chained down or with the old ball and chain and everything. It's just like,
right. That you couldn't make your own decision at a split moment and do whatever.
I enjoy my freedom. Like
right.
I always tell people, my superpower, man, is I don't have a wife. I don't have any kids.
Right.
And
you could pick up and travel and go wherever you wanted at a moment's notice.
Yeah.
You could book a flight tomorrow to Bali and not have to talk to anybody about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing, and I truly appreciate it. And I loved that life when I had it, and I'm really but actually loving the life I have now, because now it's a conversation between my wife and I about, well, is the baby going to be this old? Are we going to be able to travel? Are we going to be able to do this?
Yeah.
And now it's a teamwork collaboration on what can we do and when can we go.
Right.
And it almost makes the anticipation of going even better.
No, I get that side of the coin as well, where it's just like it almost makes things a little bit more exciting. And then you probably would appreciate the shit more.
Yeah.
Where, like, if I booked a ticket to Bali tomorrow and I just went by myself, had the hell of a time, where I know I can do that. You know, as soon as I get back, I was like, as soon as I could be like, hey, I want to do that again.
Yeah.
For you, it's like,
now I have to consider another person and then another person that's coming along the way, whether, that person's going to be healthy enough.
And then when you're there, like, I would imagine, the fucking lemonade's going to taste a little bit sweeter.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's that old statement, the sweet isn't all that sweet without the bitter. Like,
yeah. I mean, to quote the great, warrior poet 50 Cent, like, what is it? The sunshine wouldn't feel so good if it weren't for the rain or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, the sweet isn't that sweet without R.I.P. Did he die? Did I miss something?
Oh, he probably. I don't know.
I think 50's still alive, bro. He's been shot quite a few times, but I think he's still alive.
Yeah. No, it was obviously a joke.
Oh, I missed it.
Just kidding, 50 Cent. If you're listening to this, don't fucking send a G unit after me.
G-unit.
But have you? Was Bali the furthest you've been away from?
That is definitely the furthest away I've been from the States. Yeah.
Because you grew up. I mean, here in DeLand.
In Florida, yeah, DeLand. I was born in the hospital 5 miles from my house that we're currently at.
How would you describe this community?
It was really, when I was here as a kid, it's a college town. There's Stetson University, which is a music arts college.
Stetson?
Yeah, Stetson, like the hat. Stetson.
Yeah.
So
same, like any relation?
Yeah, actually the man who invented the hat, the Stetson hat, founded Stetson University with Henry DeLand.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, the founder of DeLand.
So why didn't you fucking, when you skip forward ahead of the story, why didn't you join the Army for Air Cav? Because then you get to wear the stupid hat with spurs.
With the set. I didn't even make the connection, honestly. Oh, man.
Which, the more and more I learn about, I've been getting involved with a lot of, like, Native American history.
Yeah.
And I just I listened to a book on Audible, Empire Under the Summer Moon by, like, S.C. Gwynn. But it's about the Comanches and how they would just fuck up white people because they learned how to master the horse. They were popping bow and arrows, and they were able to shoot off 6 arrows. Because back then,
on the back of a horse, accurately.
Back of the horse, they had a sling where they could side mount and use the horse as like a shield. And shoot from underneath the horse's neck.
I remember actually reading something about that as well. It was the advancement of warfare at that time where they were, just smoking people.
The U.S. Army was still using single-shot rifles and pistols.
Right, so it would take them forever to reload.
It wasn't until we invented the 5-shot and 6-shot and the repeating rifle.
Yeah, I do actually remember something about that.
Because we would have to fight unmounted and all this shit. We were all fucked up.
They're chasing people down on the back of horses with 6, 7, 8 shots in a row, where there's no way we could compete with that with a single shot.
And they had such a warrior, the Comanches especially, because they didn't fiddle around with fucking art and do fucking
they were all war.
They were just savages, dude.
Yeah,
just straight up fucking.
Well, and then if they miss with the 6 shots of the arrow, they've got the tomahawk and the knife and all the other stuff they carried along with them.
Your throat out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's it wasn't, and dude, like just traveling around Florida, learning about like the Seminoles and I forget what the tribe was down in the Everglades. But,
learning
about them Indians,
Yeah, we do have a lot of Native American influence in Florida. People don't really realize the history of Florida, but we actually used to raise cattle a lot in Florida. And people when they think of Florida, they think of beaches, and Disney World is really all they think of when they think of Florida.
More like gators.
Or Florida man redneck shit.
Cubans.
Well, you're thinking of South Florida,
True.
But but most Americans, when you say Florida, they think beaches, they think Disney World, and Florida man. They don't really think of all the wide open spaces that we have in the middle of the state.
Yeah,
man. My grandparents, when they lived here, my great grandparents, they actually owned a dairy farm and cattle.
That's wild.
Yeah, cattle was huge. My grandparents worked at a T.G. Lee farm, and I still have like T.G. Lee crates that they used to deliver milk. A milk company.
Like Publix and shit. You found it like Publix or what?
TG Lee was a
Publix is a Florida company too, right?
Publix is only Florida
and that's,
shopping center.
That's the place to go for
Subs.
They got them good. Yeah, the deli subs. And then you know what's really good is their fried chicken.
Yes.
Pretty
Yeah.
good too.
Well, I
Their
mean,
garlic bread ain't bad either.
no,
I will say
Publix.
that.
Publix is the shopping center to go to in Florida. They have everything. Like if they don't have something in the grocery store that you want, you ask the manager and they'll order it for you. It is a great grocery store.
I didn't really shop too much at the Publix because they're pretty regional. And when I lived in Birmingham, they had one. But I didn't really shop there too much because it was a little bit out of the way.
Right.
And it was kind of in the hood. And, like, there was one time when I was parked in the handicap spot, but some bitch in an Escalade parked in the stripe lane on my passenger side. And I think Pat, my stepdad, had just run in to go get some, like, garlic bread and maybe some spaghetti sauce.
Right.
And this fucking fat bitch comes out, and she's getting in her Escalade, which is illegally parked in the stripe zone.
Yeah.
Opens her door hella hard, and I hear it hit my truck.
Yeah.
And I rolled down my window, and I was like, excuse me, your door just hit my thing. And, of course, my chair isn't hooked up because I was with my dad, so he just tossed my chair in the back bed of the truck.
What are you doing parked in a handicap spot?
So I couldn't get my chair out, and I was like, hey, ma'am, like, you just dinged my door, like. She's like, oh, it's all right, honey. There ain't no scratch or nothing. And I was like, well, actually, I would like to get out and take a look at it. She's like, you do whatever you need to do. And I was like, well, I'm in a wheelchair. It's going to take a little bit. Like, you mind waiting a little? She's like, you do whatever you need to do. And I'm like, fuck, I can't get my chair out. So I'm calling my dad.
Yeah.
Phone starts ringing, and then I hear it buzzing on the passenger seat. He fucking left it. And I was like, motherfuck. Like,
every time.
And she took off, but I saw her license plate, and it was a black Escalade with Alabama plates, DAC 383.
Yeah.
Anyone sees it, takes a picture, and I don't know. I'm not telling you guys to do anything illegal.
Just let her know that she dinged my damn truck.
Send some pictures.
Is it the same Chevy, the Silverado you got now?
I'll send you guys like a free coupon for like some Oscar Mike swag or something.
A coupon. We'll send you some Maker's Mark in the mail.
No, it wasn't this truck. It was my gas truck.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. And fortunately, like by the time I ended up, because she took off, Pat ends up coming out with his fucking garlic bread and everything. I'm like, Pat, you don't have your fucking phone on you? He's like, oh, man, I left it in the truck. I was like, dude, that bitch in the Escalade just dinged my truck. I was like, look at the side of the door. And he looked out. He's like, oh, there's a little ding. And I was like, I'm pissed. I was like, get my chair. I want to get out and look. So I fucking get my seat out, get in the chair, swing around. And it's
dude, I
it's a
swear,
noticeable dent.
Every time I don't have my chair readily accessible, the person I'm with does not have their phone. Every time. It's whether it's my wife or my friends or whoever, they've thrown my chair in the back of the car. I can't get to it. They're running into the store. Dude. Something happens, or I remember I need them to get something from the store. They don't take their damn phone every time.
I don't know how Life Alert isn't a thing. It's still a thing because now we got cell phones.
Yeah,
and I'm married to this thing.
Oh, dude, I don't leave without it. It's in my pouch all the time.
Yeah, when I'm going out and I'm like, hey, like the other, like when I arrived last night and I was like, hey, I got to go move my truck real quick.
Yeah.
I made sure I had my phone when I'm transferring.
Just going to the truck.
A transfer that I've done forever and ever, and I could do probably blindfolded. But I was like, I'm going to make sure I got my phone within reach.
Yeah.
Just in case something fucks up. And
I learned that very early in my injury. I had just got home from the hospital. I had actually just moved into this house. I think it was maybe a year and a half after my injury. I just moved into this house, and I decided one night I was going to pull out the smoker at like 4 a.m. I was smoking some chicken and ribs or whatever.
4 a.m?
Yeah. I was going to start some chicken and ribs for that day. We were having some people over.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to serve it for.
Just had the drunchies or something.
Yeah, maybe drunchies, stonies, whatever, the munchies. But I was gonna smoke some chicken, some ribs, and a pork shoulder to have some friends over that night, and I wanted to finish it. So I was starting at like 4 a.m. I'm going to pull the smoker out of the garage, and I tip myself over backwards in the driveway right out here in front of my house, and I didn't have my phone. So it's 4 a.m. Nobody's awake. There's nobody to yell at, nobody to holler at. I had to drag myself in the house on the concrete. My pants pulled down.
Of course.
My ass is scraped up. My ankles are bleeding. Everything's bleeding by the time I get to my phone. And at that point, I told myself I'm never going anywhere without my phone again.
Yeah.
Even if I'm just going out to put food on the smoker or going out to the car, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then the same thing happened to me just a couple years ago in Illinois. And I was so pissed at myself because I forgot my phone. It is minus 12 degrees
this
outside.
is in the wintertime.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
minus 12 degrees. My car is in the driveway. I just thinking I'm going to go out to the car and grab something I had left in there. I don't remember what it was, something I'd left from the grocery store. I went out to the car to grab it real quick, opened the door. I transferred in the car not even halfway out of my chair, and my chair just rolled away. I'm on the driveway, icy cold. It is minus 12 degrees outside, and I'm in a pair of sweatpants.
I was gonna ask, what were you wearing?
Yeah, a pair of sweatpants and a t-shirt. No socks, no nothing.
Yeah, shoes on?
No shoes.
Oh man, that's frostbite
Yeah,
central. That's
so-
that's when you need to worry when the cold is like.
I had to drag
you gotta have some
myself into the
gloves or at least
garage. And fortunately, I'm able to get up in my chair when I get to a stable point. But I had to drag the chair in the garage.
Yeah.
It still took me 10 minutes to get back in my chair. I could have easily been frostbitten by that point.
Horrible way to die.
Yeah.
That's got to be such a
So
shitty
we
way
do
to die.
not forget our phones as quadriplegics. For
And it's
sure.
also why you live in Florida now.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have to worry about freezing to death. That's for sure. It's cold right now at 59 degrees, and I haven't turned my heat on all winter, not once.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little too cold for me. I will say, like, a space heater would be nice, but I can manage. But
Yeah.
dude, I've pretty much this is gonna be my last podcast here in Florida. I'm taking off and gonna be out in like Tennessee tomorrow evening. But
You're looking at snow.
yeah, oh yeah. By the time I get back to Illinois, it's gonna be snowy. But like this last month has just been incredible, and I've kind of like got to like circumnavigate Florida. Like I started in Tampa, hung out with Bully for a little bit, and then my mom came into town, and then we went out to Jacksonville, had that tournament out there, and then after that, like we went out to Disney Magic Kingdom.
Yeah. How'd you enjoy Disney?
Dude, it was cool. Like, yeah, that was actually, what was really interesting was that was my first amusement park as a cripple, like in a wheelchair.
Wow. Yeah.
And it was great. Like, it was a lot different than what I remember
As
when
a
I went
kid.
to- yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I want to say the last park I went to was maybe when I was probably 18, maybe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I would say
Yeah.
like maybe 17 or 18.
Yeah.
But yeah, Disney was cool, man. Like we went on we went to Animal Kingdom.
You get on any other rides?
Yeah, I did this. I did the safari, the dinosaur ride, which was a kind of a tricky little transfer. But
Yeah. I've
we
been on
had
that one.
we had
Yeah.
Nikki with us and my mom with us to help kind of smooth things along.
Right.
The Avatar ride was very accessible,
Epic, right?
And
Yeah.
so dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
3D.
highly recommend that
I mean,
shit.
the screen is right in front of you, and you're on this like motorbike
Dude,
thing.
It got me pumped up for the sequel.
Yeah, and you really feel like you're riding on the back of one of those. What are the creatures called in
Banshees.
Avatar? The Banshee.
Yeah.
You really feel like you're like it's 4D because they've got the mist and the water and the
thing
wind.
breathing between your legs.
Yeah, man,
like,
it's absolutely
yeah.
unbelievable.
My mom was freaking out because she doesn't do stuff like that, but she just was like, "Oh yeah, I'm in a room, like I'm fine. It's all fake, but
Right.
it feels so real."
We did have one of our crippled friends that couldn't get on the ride, right?
Yeah, man. Unfortunately, they wouldn't let Ryan Major, our double leg ant friend, go on because one of his nubs were too short for the locking mechanism. But I was like, dude, this guy whitewater rafts in fucking Montana. He'll be fine.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, man. No matter how accessible stuff is made, and I do applaud Disney on how accessible they've gotten. There's always some little thing that
I would almost recommend we need to start a consulting firm. And when a park or a hotel designs a handicap accessible room, like they seek our counsel. And we say, hey, this isn't going to work. Like, this bed is 10 feet tall.
The biggest thing is that there's so many different disabilities that it seems impossible, but it really isn't.
There's a universal, what do they call that? Them universal code.
Yeah, universal access.
Yeah, there it is.
And
universal access.
I love the meme that's been going around on like Instagram or Facebook. It's a picture of some kids standing out in front of a school, and there's a guy with a shovel, right? And he's shoveling off the steps for these kids to go in the school, and there's a ramp right next to the steps.
Yeah.
And the kid in the wheelchair says, "Hey, if you shovel off the ramp, all of us can get in. If you shovel off the steps first, I can't." Yeah. It's like access for all is access for all. You don't have to do the steps first, because if you do the ramp, everybody can go up the ramp. Yeah. So I feel like there is a level of finding a way for everybody to be able to participate.
Want to pour me another drink there?
Yeah, man. I got you. You need ice?
No, I'd be all right. I don't want to interrupt this. No, I agree. And what's great is, man, like, I don't think I've ran into pretty much any issues here since I've been in Florida. I mean, the hotel we were supposed to get in Key West supposedly was their wheelchair accessible room.
Yeah.
It didn't have a rolling shower. The shitter was kind of a tight squeeze. And then the bed was right about near my push bars.
Was that the video you recently posted?
That's exactly where it was. That's kind of why I did that, because I was just like, this is supposedly a wheelchair accessible room, and this bed, like, if I was by myself, I can do that transfer, but I don't know if I can do it every time.
Yeah. Well, and here's the question: how does lowering the bed to knee level for an able-bodied person hurt them to get in and out of the bed? It doesn't.
Yeah, so it's just a luxury thing to sleep up
on a high bed.
I don't even get the thing in that, but
yeah. It's I don't understand why that's a thing, but
I like sleeping as low as I could when I was a kid.
Yeah,
like if I could sleep on the ground,
yeah,
I loved it
comfortably.
Like, I want to say I only slept in a bed because my mom made me sleep in a bed.
Yeah,
if I had my choice, I would just sleep on the floor.
Yeah, it's that Laotian mentality.
Yeah, well, maybe you're right, dude. Maybe you're right. I don't know.
Born to sleep on the ground.
I like shit like that. I did like rough living. Like,
you're like you do like camping and hunting and being out in nature things, or more like roughing it?
Maybe like, I mean, yeah, yes to all of those, but I think it's more like I just like struggle or a difference, like a change in environment, or like the feeling of uncomfortableness.
Well, and that goes back to what we were talking about earlier. The idea of the bitter, the sweet isn't all that sweet without the bitter. Like, you don't realize how great your life is until you sleep on the floor. You don't realize how great a bed and a mattress and a pillow is until you sleep on the floor.
Shower, yeah. Like, you remember your first shower after boot camp?
Oh, jeez, yeah.
Like your first,
or being out in the field,
bed. Yeah, coming home from the field and just being like, ooh, hot shower, warm bed, like.
Or you just really appreciate a warm meal after not, eating cooked food or warm meal for a while. Yeah, you appreciate stuff so much more when you don't have it readily available.
Yeah. So that's kind of I'm gonna kind of segue it a little bit, but like, so growing up here in DeLand, I'm gonna just date you for a little bit. But like, what year did you graduate?
2001.
2001. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's post 9/11.
Yeah. Yeah.
What made you want to join the Army?
No, post 9/11 was 04. I joined in 04.
9/11 was 01.
Sorry. I graduated high school in 01. Yeah. And I joined right at 9/11. So I graduated in May of 9/11, September 11th.
You graduated in 01.
Right.
May of 01. Oh, so pre 9/11.
I was pre 9/11.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry,
so
dude, I'm fucked up.
Yeah. I actually joined the Army because of 9/11. I was working at a barbecue restaurant.
Okay. Yeah. So you
I had already considered the military.
What'd you do after high school? Then?
I was working at a barbecue restaurant.
Yeah.
I had already considered the military as an idea. I had actually thought about joining the Navy.
Do you have a family history with the military?
My grandfather was an Army Signal Corps,
Okay.
and my step grandfather, my step grandfather, which I knew for only a couple of years before I joined the Army, was a CB.
Yeah.
So I did have some in my family, but my dad wasn't in the military. But it was just the best thing for me. I wasn't a really good student, so college wasn't really a great option for me. So the idea of having money for the future and having a job and a steady income in the military was a great idea for me. I never got it. I was never the school type. I didn't really get it.
Where were you during 9/11?
The day of 9/11, I was working at the barbecue restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it coming across the radio.
Were you on that like morning shift or?
Yeah, I was doing prep cook. The restaurant usually opened at 11. And
yeah, but I mean barbecue, especially. I will say this, man. There ain't no good barbecue west of the Rockies.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, Kansas City, Tennessee.
Kansas City's the shit.
Yeah, Alabama, Georgia, Florida.
It's all, and I would say no more north than
Tennessee. Tennessee's probably as far north as you can go for good barbecue.
Louisville, you want to push the limits.
I don't know about Louisville.
You want to push the limits.
Maybe a little into Kentucky.
Yeah. That's when you get north of like that Tennessee, Kentucky line.
Mason-Dixon line
start kind of
getting
blurry.
Yeah, Mason-Dixon line where the barbecue.
Because Louisville does
where they stop serving sweet tea, you ain't serving barbecue no more.
Yeah, it starts transitioning to like fried chicken.
Yeah.
And shout out to the Colonel.
If you don't have sweet tea, you might as well fucking forget about it. You don't got no barbecue food.
Now, I'm not a huge sweet tea guy.
Yeah, and here's the thing about being in Illinois or one of the northern states. You go to the restaurant and you ask for tea, and they bring you this bullshit without no sugar in it.
I've had sweet tea down in the South. It's just not my thing. I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't drink.
I grew up on sweet tea.
I don't drink,
sweet beverages.
Soda, pop.
Yeah. As you have the Coca-Cola and Maker's Mark in your glass right now.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
Because it's got liquor in it.
It's the only time I ever drink pop is if it's mixed.
Yeah.
Unless I have been getting into like craft pop. Like,
really?
Yeah, like there are some places that'll do like craft soda. Like there was a joint in Alabama I went to. It was an old pharmacy, and they actually had a soda jerk. And you would go there and he'd put the fucking syrup,
add the flavor and everything to it.
Pop that carbonated water or whatever.
Huh.
Yeah, that was really good. And, they had kind of that unique flavor, and they had like ginger ale and Chick-fil-A's got Miranda strawberry, pop, which in Oregon we have. We might have it all over, but Welch's strawberry pop.
Oh yeah,
which is pretty good. They do like a grape soda. That's real good.
Right on.
So
but yeah, it's 9/11. Yeah, I was in the barbecue restaurant. I remember it coming across the radio that a plane had crashed into Twin Towers, and then next thing we always had to put our cell phones in the drawer at work because this was the beginning of like everybody having a cell phone kind of thing. So we had to put our cell phones in the drawer, and we were not allowed to look at them. And I remember the drawer just vibrating like hell. Everybody's phone is going off in the drawer. So everybody's picking up their phone. And my mom had called me, and she's like, what's going on? You need to come home right now. The restaurant closed down. I went home, and then I remember seeing it on the news. Like within the next 2 days, I had called the Army recruiter and said I was ready to go. And that was one of my biggest motivations for joining. I really wanted to do my part at that point because I felt like there was something that needed to be done.
Yeah, that's when I think the seed got planted with me. I was in 8th grade. I was the first one in my house that found out. And I used to wake up every morning and listen to this hip hop radio station morning talk show, and they would always do like prank calls, and they were just real silly fucking guys. Right. And I turned on the radio, and they were being real serious, and they're like, we don't know what's going on. Like a plane had crashed into the World Trade Center in New York, and I was like, oh, what's going? Because you got to remember, I'm in Oregon, so I'm 3 hours
Yeah.
behind everything. I got up. I would get up
This was
early.
5 in the morning, 6 in the morning for you, right?
I think I used to get up at like 6, so it was like
Because it was 9 a.m. the first
the first
crash.
plane hit
Yeah.
it. Okay, yeah. So I would get up at 6.
Yeah.
Because I like showering in the morning. Yeah, and I turned on the radio, and I was just like, oh, what's going on? And I like ran into my parents' room. I was like, hey, can you turn on your TV? Like something's going on.
Yeah.
They turned on the TV just in time for the second plane to hit, and I was like, oh, that's not an accident.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of what was the War of the Worlds author?
H.G. Wells.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of an H.G. Wells thing at first. That was my first thought because
we thought that after the first plane hit, we were like maybe it was an accident. We don't know what it was because we still thought it was maybe like a Cessna or
right.
Like
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh no, it was a fucking commercial plane. Like what the hell happened? Suicidal pilot.
Yeah.
Because there was that one. Remember that one?
Or just a mistake.
Remember that one German pilot that was like, "Fuck my life, I'm gonna."
Oh yeah.
It's like what the fuck's going on with that? I'm like.
Yeah.
But yeah, when the second plane hit, we were like, oh, something. And then I think it was the Pennsylvania happened next, and then the Pentagon.
Right. Then the Pentagon after the field in Pennsylvania.
Wow, like, damn.
Did we ever figure out where that plane in Pennsylvania was headed? Did they ever decide where the final destination was?
Because I remember the rumor was it was going to be the White House.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that might have just been some propaganda or whatever, who knows.
Promotion for the war, whatever.
Yeah. And by then we were all fired up, man. We were ready
everybody was ready
to fuck up
launch
anybody.
Missiles and go, let's go.
Yeah. So and you were in that.
I was, I was definitely in the group that said, let's go fuck up Saddam and whoever's responsible for this. Because at the time it was like, oh, we're this is Saddam's fault, and this is before the ISIS idea. And it's surprising to find out that ISIS has been around for such a long time before all of this, and sponsored by the U.S. and.
Well, going back to like the Native American thing, like. If Europeans never took over the North American continent, it very well could be like a Middle East situation where you got all these different warring tribes,
right, trying to claim for one place.
Yeah, and that's kind of what's been happening over there.
Yeah, the biggest motivator that in my mind is religion. It's the difference in.
I agree.
In very small pieces of religion. Whether you believe in Jesus or not, or whether you believe in Muhammad or not, or whether you believe that we should kill people who do this or kill people who do that, or it's very small changes that we argue about that our whole lives and war depend upon. These very small differences in religion. Like whether we should go to church on Saturday or Sunday. Do we really have to fight about that? You know what I mean? If you want to go to church on Saturday, fine. If I want to go to church on Sunday, fine. Live and let live.
Right. Yeah. No, it's such a touchy subject because me personally, I always feel like religion is kind of that like chain that's like just holding us back from accomplishing so much
from
more.
evolution,
Like
from being an evolved creature.
Could you imagine, man, if race wasn't an issue, if we all just looked at each other like we were just human beings and
working towards the same goal,
and these imaginary lines that divide countries,
right? And
if we were all just like, hey, we're on this rock that's spinning around the fucking sun, that's flying around an entire galaxy, moving at however millions of fucking miles an hour.
There's so many different perspectives to take, and I think the larger perspective is better. The less you look at yourself and your family and your country and your state and then the world. Let's take a universal perspective.
Yeah.
A global, a galaxial perspective, if you will, and look at how small we are in the effect, and stop worrying about what's affecting us and worry more about what's affecting the entire galaxy around us.
Now, is that just because like we're we're descendants of apes and we're just tribal people.
Yeah, and I feel like it's a part of our evolution to move further away from tribalism, but we still have a huge part of tribalism. Like we pick
But
our
do you think
favorite football team
do
and
you
our
think
favorite baseball
right?
team,
And
and
do you think we can move away from that, or is it just
I do.
programmed for us?
I do.
Like,
I do think that we can't move away
yeah.
from it because I think if you read history and study history like I do, and I love to do, and like you were talking about with the Native Americans, and there is an ability to move away from tribalism and colonialism and the idea of our country is better than your country and our state and our idea is better than yours. I do think there's ability to move away from that
Yeah.
because we
Yeah,
have.
that's. I mean, it's a good.
I feel like we
optimistic
have.
view.
I feel like we have moved away from that since, you know.
Oh, dude, the wars back then
Let-
used to be so much more.
Well,
savage.
yeah. Let's look at
Yeah.
even if we just go back a couple hundred years to the Holy Roman Empire. Everybody has to be a Catholic, and you have to believe exactly what we believe, or we're going to kill you.
Yeah.
You know.
Or even just the way the way they fought wars, where everything was just up close and personal. And it's like you're gonna kill a guy that you're gonna smell his breath.
Yeah, it's not it's not necessarily about the I think it's more the idea behind why we fight for war. More now, it's because of you're forcing.
I think
You're
it's all
forcing-
tribes. I think.
Yeah, I feel like now. Well, I don't want to sound superior as an American or whatever, but I think Americans have the idea of we don't want to watch other people force their ideas on other people, so we're trying to defend that. And then in the same instance, we're also enforcing our ideas on other people.
Or at least try.
We're trying to be
Yeah.
morally better than everybody
Yeah.
else. I think it's a moral dilemma, no matter how you look at it.
Yeah, but the crazy thing is, it's just like when you break it down to like the micro level, like we're all gonna get along when it's just a small group of people. Because like I'd be willing to bet, because we had some friends over tonight, or your friends
Yeah.
came over tonight. Like I bet you if me and Mike sat down and just listed off our political ideas,
Yeah,
there might be some variations.
yeah,
But when we're playing a card game together and quote unquote, breaking bread,
yeah,
just been pizza and
yeah. Pizza and
But,
Maker's Mark.
like, it's still like we get along just fine. Like it's if everyone could just be neighbors with each other, it's just like I feel like the only thing that divides us is that in today's world in 2020 we're just so connected.
Yeah,
And there's so much access with
the
like,
global perspective.
well, just with social media, and like you're able to look at what's going on in Australia and everything that's going on in like Africa, Afghanistan, and
Yeah.
like.
Do you think there's too much information, that people know too much?
I think that's what the big problem is. Is just like I don't think. Okay, one example I'll give that just happened tonight was like y'all let the kids go play out in the front yard.
Yeah.
Where I feel like there's some parents in today's world that wouldn't let the kids go outside
Right.
without any supervision.
Yeah.
And I remember just growing up, in like Southeast Portland, just, playing outside, riding my bike in the neighborhood and just knowing when to come home. This is
Right.
before cell phones. But I don't think the world's any more dangerous. I just think we have
I
better information.
completely agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because I hate the idea of helicopter moms and overprotection.
Oh, dude,
And
it's so bad
It
now.
just drives me
Yeah.
absolutely insane because, the more you instill fear in somebody, the more afraid, obviously, they're going to be. If you tell somebody every day that there's somebody out there going to get you and you can't go outside and you shouldn't be outside after
Yeah.
dark and don't do this and don't do that, they're going to fear for their lives constantly.
Right.
And I hate that culture.
Yeah.
And
I think it has to do something with the spike in mental health.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it goes back to what you were talking about with the more we know about what's going on, the more we're afraid, because honestly, how many people are actually getting, and the big thing right now is like sex trafficking, right? Like how many people are actually getting kidnapped? How many people are actually, out of the millions of people in the world,
Yeah.
is it happening here right now outside my house?
I personally don't
Probably
know anyone
not.
that's ever been self-trafficked, but
I haven't been.
I hear it does go on.
And
I might have seen it. Like
I believe that it
overseas.
happens. I'm not trying to downplay it at all, and I think it's a
Yeah.
terrible thing, and I hate that it happens to people. But I don't want to feel so afraid that I can't send my daughter when she's born outside to play in her own front yard.
Yeah.
And I think it was Thomas Jefferson that's is one of my favorite quotes is the more that we give up in security, the less freedom we have.
Right. Yeah.
I hate the idea of not having freedom to be able to go out in my front yard and play with my daughter because I'm worried that she's going to get kidnapped by some sex trafficker. You know, I hate that idea. But it's a reality that we have to deal with. We have to measure what we can do safely.
Right. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's going to be a completely different time for our children.
Yeah, well, and that's the unfortunate thing is that I feel like when we were kids, we had so much freedom. We were talking earlier that I was a latchkey kid. My parents gave me a key to my house when I was 7 or 8 years old. I would walk home from school. I would unlock the door. I would cook dinner on the stove with heat at 7 or 8 years old. Like I was, I was lighting fires when I was a child in my own house, and my parents didn't worry at all that I was alone for hours with my sister.
I was the same way with my little brother.
And there's no way that most parents would do that with their kids now at all.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that because my nephew just turned 10, but he got a cell phone for Christmas.
Yeah.
Sent me a text message. He's like, "Hey, this is Anton. I got a cell phone for Christmas." I was like, "Dude, you're not even 10 yet." And I mean, it makes sense. Like, it's cool to have that phone and they're able to call you and everything. But, like, I remember being able to, like, you know, if you're away and, like, you would have to just ask to use the house phone.
Or find a pay phone. You always had a quarter or in your pocket or something.
I don't know if I brought this up on any of the recent podcasts, but I remember when I was in infantry school and we were able to have, like, you know, weekend libo. And I had a cell phone, but, like, the minutes were expensive.
Yeah.
So I bought a phone card, and I went down to the phone bank.
Same.
And, I would just sit in a phone booth and call my, family.
I wrote letters. I still wrote letters when I was in boot camp.
Oh, I still have some of the letters.
I do too. My grandma would send me them all the time.
My grandma has the most beautiful cursive handwriting.
Yes.
And I saved all of her letters because her handwriting was gorgeous.
I got a funny story about that. My grandma, before I had left, she had bought a TV. This is when they first came out with the V chip, where like they would censor the TV for kids or whatever. And,
TVMA.
Yeah, my grandma was probably 65 or so at that point, and she had just bought her first TV with the V chip. And she had told me all about it before I left for boot camp. The TV with the V chip. I can't figure it out. It's so confusing.
She was trying to watch some rowdy stuff.
She was just trying to watch regular TV. And so every time she would send me a letter, the last sentence of the letter would be, "Oh, this V-chip TV is pissing me off." So it was great. I mean, I actually had a letter to hold on to and read, when my grandma had sent me.
Yeah, I saved all those. I should go through and reread them. But no, dude, growing up, I didn't have cable TV really.
Yeah, same.
So I would always go over to my cousin's house because his dad would have cable. But we didn't have any, like, the premium channels or anything. They had, like, MTV and Nickelodeon and all that.
Right.
But I remember there was a Channel 50, which was the adult channel.
And you would always
go back behind the TV and kind of fiddle-fuck the cable.
To get it to come in clearly.
And then you'd be like, "Oh, hold it there. And they'd be like,
I can see movies.
Yeah, oh, there's the tit. And, dude, I remember one time we had unscrambled one of the commercials for one of the 1-900 numbers. And we were able to make it out. Yeah, we were probably only like 8 or 9 years old, man.
Oh, wow.
And we fucking called that number. And I didn't realize dude, you get charged by like the minute for
By
that
the
shit.
minute, yeah,
Yeah.
$1.99.
Oh,
It used to
dude.
be, yeah.
And when that shit fucking came up on the phone bill the next
Oh,
month,
I bet your mom lost her shit.
I didn't do it at my house either, dude. It was
Oh,
over at my it was my mom's uncle, but I call him my grandpa, but his son, I call him my cousin because we're so
Yeah.
close in age.
Right.
So he's technically my mom's cousin, but I call him my cousin because we're like 6 months apart. Like,
Right.
yeah.
So your second cousin, but he.
No, he's like my first cousin once removed.
Oh, okay,
or
yeah,
something
yeah.
Like that.
I never know
his
that math.
daughter is my second cousin.
Oh,
but
okay.
She
right.
calls me Uncle Tim.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a whole Asian family thing.
Right.
Yeah,
We have the same thing in a white
you go
family.
based off of your age.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, we made out that 1-900 number and we called it and we got fucking rang up and it was like $30 on the fucking phone bill. They
Who did this?
Yeah, exactly. They were like, "You did what?" Like, who did this?
I mean, I don't know. And maybe it's just us getting older, but that's the thing I worry about with the younger generation is just going outside and
Yeah, man.
experiencing. Because it's a fight with my niece and nephew. My sister has 2 kids that are 9 and going to be 12 this next week. And it's a fight to get them to just go play outside. And that's all we had when I was a kid. That's all I remember.
Yeah, it was a fight to stay outside longer.
Yeah. I had a Nintendo, but it was something we only played on like on the weekends or maybe once in a while with my dad or you know,
I wasn't allowed to play video games until after school Friday until 9 o'clock Sunday.
Yeah.
So during the weekday,
yeah, it's schoolwork.
It's
go outside, do
Yeah.
something else. Yeah.
But yeah, outside was unlimited.
And I realize
a certain point, like
I
not
realize
too
it's
dark.
a change in culture, and I realize it's there's more games on your phone and there's more things to do. But I feel like the conversation, even though we're doing it right now with technology, we're talking to each other with a microphone and a
That's
computer.
still, I still consider this analog because I want to do everything face to face.
Right, we're sitting here.
I won't ever do a podcast.
actually having a conversation
Yeah,
with
and
each other.
I won't ever do a podcast over Skype or anything because I enjoy the human connection.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I was a kid, like going outside and like, rounding up the neighborhood kids, like, oh, we're gonna
Let's play a game of baseball. Or
we're gonna ride our bikes
manhunt.
over to Scotty's house. Like we're gonna go, hey,
he's got a
Scotty, like,
trampoline at his house.
oh,
Let's go
dude,
over there.
the kid that had the trampoline.
He was
or
the
dude,
cool
or
kid.
in the summer, like the kid that had
They had the pool. Yep.
Yeah.
He was the house to
Yeah.
go to. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like kids are missing out on that. But and then I look every once in a while and I do see my nephew. He ride his bike down the street to his friend's house and they're outside playing basketball or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, okay, maybe it's not as bad as I think it is. And I do worry about that with having a kid on the way. It's like, man, are we losing the values that we used to have? And then I say, all right, in the 60s, were they saying the same thing when they were raising
I think
my
every single
parents?
generation is always going to look at it.
Yeah, are we
Next
losing the same
generation
values?
is
And
just-
why is it different?
I think it's always going to be different. Like, because, like, our parents, I mean, they always told us, like, hey, like, it always felt like it was a different generation.
Yeah. Well,
So-
and we were in the age of the internet when the internet first came and computer games and video
Yeah.
games and all of that first came out. And
Well, personal consoles at home, because, like,
Yeah.
you remember going to the arcade?
you had to play the arcade,
Yeah,
right?
The
yeah.
arcade
Oh,
was
dude.
the shit
Oh.
back in the day.
Man, I remember going to the bowling alley and there was an arcade there, and I would spend all of my allowance playing Mortal
we would Go to the
Kombat,
bowling. Oh, Mortal Kombat was your game?
Street
Yeah.
Fighter.
We would go to the bowling alley to shoot pool.
Yeah.
But then, you get down on a game of, like, not Duck Hunt, but big game Buck Hunter.
Big Game. Yeah, Big Game was
Uh,
a little later than me.
And
Yeah.
then, I mean, like, try to impress a girl. I
Oh,
don't know.
Cruising Concepts. What was that
Cruising
game?
USA.
Cruising USA. Yeah,
Yeah.
the driving game.
That one was fun.
Used to be killer if
They
you could
had
do
one, I
that.
think, wasn't it like Cruising Miami or something?
Mm-hmm.
There was one that was just all in Florida. But then there was also, like, Daytona. Like, you remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
There was Daytona USA. And, man, some of my favorite ones were the shooters. Like, you want to try to impress a girl, like...
The zombie shooters. Well, the zombie shooters
Well, they
were
had those, like the House
later
of
on.
the Deads. But then you also had, like... Remember that police trainer.
Yes.
Yeah, if
you can put the shield up or down.
Yeah, you want to try to impress a girl, you get down that police trainer or Time Crisis.
Yes. With the sniper rifle.
What was that one called? Silent Scope?
Yeah, Silent Scope. Yeah.
Yeah, that one was fun.
Good times. Good times.
House of the Dead was
House of the Dead
too.
was another good one. Yeah.
There was that Die Hard one too. That one was fun.
Oh yeah.
Die Hard first shooter. Yeah, we used to go. This is when we were kids too, with my cousin, the kid that I just described, who's actually my mom's cousin. But
yeah,
his name's Eric. But yeah, he's been like my best friend forever. But we used to go to this place called Wonderland, and it was like a nickel arcade.
Nice.
And like the most the game would cost would be like 20 cents, and that's like for the primo games, like the ticket winning games and everything. But like, yeah, that's when we would like fucking just get down on some Mortal Kombat. He was into that Street Fighter.
Oh yeah.
I was always playing. There was this one. There was Tokyo Wars, which was like a tank shooter. Then there was one. I'm trying to remember the name, but it had like 2 joysticks, and you like controlled this big robot thing.
Oh yeah, I don't know that one.
I'm trying to remember the name,
but some of the classics were the best things too, like Asteroid.
Oh, dude,
Galaga.
Las Vegas used to have a place called GameWorks. Which there's still a few out there, but you could buy a card that would give you like free access because all the games ran off of a card system.
Right.
And like you can get an unlimited pass for like 3 hours. But they had a classic arcade section.
Nice. Had, like Donkey Kong, Galaga.
There was Donkey Kong, there's Pac-Man, but they had like Asteroids and Centipede.
Nice.
Missile Defense.
Yeah.
Just all the old classic ones.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're right. I feel like that is every generation. We feel like our kids are losing touch with the older way of doing things, writing letters.
That's why I was excited when you guys were talking about the roller rink. I was like, I didn't know kids still do that.
Right, and I still find myself surprised about what my niece and nephew do every once in a while, because I do see them constantly on their phones, and I'm like, man, I'm so worried for these kids.
Dude,
but
the roller rink was so dope.
Every once in a while, I'm surprised that she wants to go for her 12th birthday to the roller rink with her
That's
friends.
how we would meet chicks, man.
Oh, for sure. That was the jam back in the day. Like, I remember going...
in middle school, dude?
Middle
school?
school.
To the roller rink, 6th
or anytime
grade.
It was summer camp or anything like that, going to the roller rink was the shit.
Requesting the slow jams.
Yeah.
That old,
I'm gonna dance with my girl.
That mid-90s Celine Dion.
And I Lil Whitney Houston.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, for sure. That was mine back in the day. We'll always love you. My thing was always the races, though. I played roller hockey and ice hockey when I was a kid, so I would try and win the races to impress the girls.
It's weird how Florida loves hockey.
Yeah, it's really
all them
surprising.
Snowbirds that come down from the
they want to get their kids playing hockey or whatever. But I played ice hockey growing up as a kid in Florida. There's a rink over in Daytona, and the YMCA where I actually work out now is where I used to play roller hockey as a kid.
Oh shit!
Yeah, the same courts that I'm pushing my rugby chair on now. I used to play roller hockey as a kid.
I got on ice skates till I was like 16 or 17.
I was 5.
I do remember I used to go to Clackamas Town Center, which was the nearest mall to my house, and there was a big food court, and it was kind of like an atrium style, and below it was the roller rink. So you're eating your, Panda Express or the Cajun Grill or whatever.
Saburo pizza.
We did have a Saburo. Yeah, we had a Saburo. We had an Orange Julius, and a hot dog on a stick.
Every
yeah, there was a hot dog on a stick. But that was actually where Tanya Harding would practice ice skating.
Wow.
Because she grew up in our county.
Wow.
And
before she got her leg broke.
She didn't break. Yeah.
Oh no, she was the one who
legs.
broke
Yeah,
Nancy
she
Kerrigan.
broke legs. And I still haven't seen that movie with Margot Robbie, but I hear it's pretty good.
Oh yeah.
I need to check it out.
Why?
Because it's Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
You know, but
Birds of Prey is coming out soon.
the trailer for that looks dope.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, like ice skating was just kind of like that's just a thing white people do.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, you were the ultimate white guy too. You played lacrosse.
I became later. Yeah, it was when I grew up in Southeast Portland. Like so I pretty much grew up. I remember 3 childhood homes, and the very first childhood home was in Southeast Portland in a neighborhood that was nicknamed Felony Flats.
Yeah.
So
kind of like Baltimore-ish.
It wasn't. I don't want to say it was like the Y or anything, but there was a lot of just poor people. So it was a good mix of poor people because there was like poor Mexicans and there was poor whites, and poor Asians, and there was poor blacks.
Drugs,
like everything. Maybe there were drugs, maybe there weren't. Like I wasn't.
You didn't really know at that point.
Yeah. I mean, like I do remember there being some like neo-Nazis and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like. Yeah, our mailbox got blown up one time, but we couldn't tell if it was just like vandalism, just kids being kids, or if it was like a directed hate crime or whatever.
Damn Asians, get out of my town.
Yeah, like we honestly didn't know, but like it was just like we were just all in it together because like we were just all poor.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And then we moved out into like kind of the outer southeast area. And like that was kind of cool because I thought I had made it. Like we lived in a cul-de-sac, which was kind of weird for the first time.
Right.
I had a pretty good view of downtown Portland and Mount St. Helens. And what was really cool was just below was a drive-in movie theater.
Nice.
So I could see 2 of the 3 screens.
From your house?
Yeah, from my living room.
Hell
so
yeah.
like I remember watching Men in Black, the first one. This is like 1996.
Yeah.
And I remember watching Men in Black, but I didn't know what was going on because we were too far. Because you would have to tune in.
You couldn't hear the sound.
You have to tune in on the FM radio, and we were still too
far
hear
it,
to get the transmission. But what ended up being cool was when I went to private school, one of my best friends growing up, his house butted up right against the drive-in movie theater.
Nice.
And it was, there was a big bike trail coming along the back end.
Yeah.
And we would just sneak into the movies, climb the
gate.
Yeah, we would just go under the fence.
Nice.
And we'd just sneak in with our
So
radio.
here's a crazy question: do you remember being poor? Do you remember as a kid saying to yourself, "Man, I don't have what everybody else has"? Did you feel poor when you were a kid?
It wasn't until I started getting rich experiences.
How old were you at that point when you realized that when you were younger you were poor?
Dude, I remember when my mom started. So my mom divorced my dad in like 1993.
Yeah.
So I think I was like 6 years old. But I remember when she started dating my stepdad, Pat, and we went out to the Olive Garden for the first time, and that was I think it was my first time having Italian food.
Right.
And we had to dress up, dude.
Yeah, put your suit and tie on.
Dude, I put on khakis,
your best clothes,
and a button-up shirt. I had to tuck it in and wear a belt.
Yeah.
And it was like it became a big deal.
Did you realize at that point that you had gone without for a while, or like that you didn't have the full experience?
I don't remember really the kind of the switch because like going to the Olive Garden was still a treat.
How old were you at this point?
I must have been 7 or 8.
Oh, okay.
Maybe 9. I might have been 9.
It was much later for me that I realized that we grew up poor.
Yeah.
I had no idea because we didn't have air conditioning in our house. I lived in Florida my whole life.
I remember when we put in the air conditioning.
We didn't have air conditioning.
I remember when my dad cut out the hole in
it's
the
150 degrees here in Florida.
Oh, and you got wow.
We had above ground pool in our backyard, and that was our luxury.
We didn't have it.
But we had no AC.
Nobody had a pool when I grew up.
Well, this was something my dad had put in on his own because we couldn't afford the AC unit. So he spent $200 on like an above ground pool and filter or whatever because we couldn't afford to put AC in the house. So he's like, anytime you guys are hot, just go out and jump in the pool.
Yeah.
But it's 95 fucking degrees, dude.
Right.
We had no air conditioning for my whole time as a child, and I had no idea until I was probably 15 or 16 years old.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I had no idea that, and I look back, and we were living on, pasta and Hot Pockets and, cheap meats. And
fortunately, like, Asian food is so cheap.
that you're right, that you don't really realize.
It was just like we ate sticky rice a bunch.
Yeah.
Regular jasmine.
I just never realized that we didn't have a lot of money and that my parents were barely getting by.
Yeah.
Until I was much older and started paying for things on my own, and I realized
you also gotta remember, like, both my parents were refugees,
right?
And they're used to just not having anything. So when they were here, when they barely had anything, they thought they had a lot.
Yeah.
So it was like the frame of reference,
right,
is always going to be skewed.
Yeah. Well, and my dad,
for me, like, our normal right now, like, I mean, you and I are both service-connected vets, like,
super privileged.
Yeah, like, if we wanted to Uber Eats ice cream.
Yeah,
right
I just
now,
spent $30 on a bottle of whiskey and didn't think twice about it for us to drink.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because I remember when I was a teenager and I was able to score some whiskey. It was like
$5 bottle.
Yeah, Maker's Mark might as well have been
Forget about it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're not spending $100.
I was happy to get, like, Jack Daniels. And most of the time it was like Evan Williams or just the store brand.
Yeah, and that's something we were talking about earlier that I wanted to mention was, we're so fortunate as disabled veterans that are service connected that we have all these benefits that we're able to, get our vehicles paid for and our houses. 100%. Our the ability to change our houses and move and travel and do all these things that other people with disabilities that are on regular insurance or that just don't get to experience. And I've really challenged myself, and I challenge a lot of our disabled friends that are listening to this that are fortunate to be able to take care of themselves and their family, to really try and take care of people with disabilities that don't have the same experience we do. Because, man, they're not getting new wheelchairs for every 6 or 8 years, and
sports chairs.
They don't get these sports chairs that we get, and they don't get this travel benefit, and they don't get their houses modified, and they really have to spend money out of their own pocket, and they have to work their own jobs, and they have to pay for their own medical supplies. And
dude, it was until I moved to LA and I found out about, like, the black market.
Yeah.
For
suppositories and catheters, and I mean, things that we get in the mail without a second thought. Man, as advocates for the disabled community, let's, as veterans or as people who are really benefiting from government money or whatever you're benefiting from as a disabled person, let's take care of those people who aren't. I think it can really be beneficial. And I follow a friend on Instagram who is disabled with no insurance and no service connection or no anything. And she really has a hard time just getting by, working a part-time job, trying to pay for her wheelchair and her ability to get to work.
It can be tough.
It's brutal, man. So I just challenge you guys, man, to take care of a disabled community.
Yeah, and that's. I've always been a pretty generous person, but when I started traveling overseas, as a cripple, and seeing how other of, our rugby brothers in Colombia, Argentina, how they live,
Bali,
and practice.
Yeah.
Go to Bali, go to Cambodia, like go to.
Necessity is the mother of invention, man.
Like, just like
these guys are getting around on mopeds. It's amazing.
I was just like, dude, I got it so good, and you did nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, I got drawn the best hand. I got fucking pocket rockets. Aces,
For sure. Yeah, and you see, they're going to their rugby practice in an outdoor gym at a
Yeah, right. Yeah.
with no air conditioning, and it's hot as hell.
Dude,
And they're getting there on their
the
mopeds.
bathroom isn't even accessible.
Yeah,
Ramps
they're
are
going.
fucking,
Yeah. We've got it so good in America, and it's not just the American people with disabilities. It's all over the world where these people are suffering and having a hard time. Or we could make their lives just a little bit easier with some leg bags or a wheel bag or some extra wheels that we've got laying around in the garage. Yeah, a cushion for a rugby chair. Yeah,
Yeah.
or an
Some of these
everyday
guys
chair
are just sitting
on
the
wood.
pillows.
On
Yeah,
wood.
they're
That
just
one guy in Bali, dude, his chair was fucking wood.
Oh yeah.
It was
Oh
wooden.
yeah, dude. The
Martins.
One of the
Martin.
even remember the Cambodian team?
Yeah.
Yeah, like most of their chairs were just made out of wood, and it was like,
Yeah.
and when I went to Cambodia, I was just like, oh shit, like this is just all wood.
This old stuff that you've got laying around in your garage that you think doesn't matter to anybody, that you could just recycle or get rid of.
Yeah.
Man, send it to people that need it.
Right, man. Yeah. No, we definitely hit the jackpot being disabled in the U.S.
For sure.
I'm gonna bring it back on the rails a little bit, but where can you just describe how you got hurt?
Yeah. Yeah. So I was in Fort Hood, Texas. We had just got our orders to deploy to Afghanistan. We had just been issued our BDUs and everything. That we'd actually packed up the train and packed up everything to get ready to go. We were on our last leave before we were headed over.
What year was this again?
This was 2004.
Yeah.
We had a 4-day weekend before our deployment, and we were supposed to stay within 150 miles of the base.
Yeah.
I decided with my buddy from Texas that we were going to drive back to Florida. We were going to spend a weekend at the beaches and have a good time, see my family. This was the weekend of Valentine's Day. I don't even remember the girl I was dating at the time. I wanted to go home and see her before my deployment.
Of course.
Yeah, I had no idea I don't even remember what her name was. So I convinced my buddy Jake to drive with me to Florida. We had just worked a 24-hour shift too in the motor pool.
Yeah.
So we did back-to-back shifts. We did a DFAC shift where we had cooked breakfast and lunch in the morning, and then we worked an afternoon shift in the motor pool. And then we wanted to drive 18 hours from Central Texas all the way back to Florida.
You got, full balls. We'll do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, full balls, right?
Full balls.
So I drive 10 hours. I make it to Louisiana. I decided
that's a long time when you're a young person.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
I was
pull
only
those 10s and 12s now.
I was only 18, 19, maybe 19 years old at that point.
Yeah. When I was a young kid like that, like 8 hours is the most I could drive.
Yeah, and I'd already worked a 24-hour.
Yeah, exactly.
So I decided after 10 hours in Louisiana that I was tired and it was his turn to drive. He had been sleeping, so I thought he was good. He took over the driving. 1 hour later, exit 13, Friday the 13th, in Mobile, Alabama. He fell asleep behind the wheel, rolled over somewhere between 6 and 18 times. One person who witnessed the accident said it was 6. One person said 20-something. So he had fallen asleep, went all the way across the median at 110 miles an hour.
On I-10 here?
I-10. Yeah. Went all the way across the median into oncoming traffic, all the way back across the median, hit the trash cans, the water trash cans on the side of the road, and then started to roll. My Chevy actually it was a Chevy Avalanche.
Okay.
Went from 10 feet tall, whatever it is, down to the size of like nothing.
Yeah.
The roof crushed.
Straight up, just pancaked it.
Yeah. The only thing I remember from the accident is I put my hand in front of my face. Natural, put your arm in front of your face to protect your face.
You were awake during this time?
I had woken up from being asleep.
During the accident?
Yeah, I had woken up as the accident was happening and put my hand in front of my face. And I remember my elbow going through the window, and I have a couple of glass scars on my elbow
Shrapnel.
from going through the window.
Yeah.
And then I put my arm out to try and stop the truck from rolling over.
Yeah.
I broke my wrist, and that's the last thing I remember for about 4 weeks after that.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
All right.
So they told me that I had told the helicopter pilot who my parents were and phone numbers and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, so you were just blacked
shock.
out.
Yeah, in shock, blacked out. But they said I was still able to communicate.
Oh, wow, that's crazy.
But then, yeah, it was until 4 weeks later that I didn't realize that I had a spinal cord injury and I wasn't going to walk again and that kind of thing.
We're going to get to that. We're going to take a quick commercial break.
Yeah, it's time for pee.
I'm going to go take a piss.
Pee and some ice.
Yeah, we'll be right back right after these commercial breaks.
Right on.
Oh, shit. I just realized we don't have any sponsors. But if you're interested in sponsoring the podcast, go ahead and reach out to me at mycrippledfriend@gmail.com. That includes the unofficial sponsor of this podcast, Coca-Cola, Maker's Mark, and Anthony's Pizza in DeLand, Florida. That's Anthony's Pizza in DeLand, Florida.
They do have some delicious pizza, and it goes really good with some Maker's Mark bourbon and some Coca-Cola.
And some good old-fashioned Coca-Cola. And maybe some Copenhagen Long Cut.
You remember that time Bobby Boucher showed up at halftime and the Mud Dogs won the bourbon bowl?
Dude, okay, let's bring that up right now real quick. We were going to bring it back, but we're going to go off the rails. Dude, one of my favorite movies growing up as a kid
The Waterboy.
was The Waterboy.
Yes, sir.
And what is the relationship between The Waterboy and
DeLand, Florida
there you go.
was actually a filming place for The Waterboy. DeLand High School used to have an old football field that they wanted to get fixed up, and the production company came to DeLand High School and asked them if they wanted to film there, and they said hell yeah. They gave them a lot of money, and the high school looks really great now. But the shitty field that you see in the beginning of Waterboy where they do their practice, that is my high school. That is DeLand High School.
Wait, and Waterboy was filmed. Was that like 98?
Yeah, that was right around the
still
time.
in high school.
Well, I was in middle school at that time. Well,
okay.
Yeah, because I mean.
Wait, you graduated?
Well, no, I was in high school, but I went to private school at that point in '98.
Okay.
Yeah. But I was here.
Private school too.
I was here for it, and I wanted to go to the filming, and my mom wouldn't let me go. At that point, I think I just started driving in '98. I was like 14 or 15, and I had my learner's permit, and she wouldn't let me go to the filming. Said, but yeah, I do remember them filming, and a lot of the Louisiana backroad stuff where they go to Bobby's mama's house
on the lawnmower.
Yeah, on the lawnmower. A lot of those roads are the lakes and the bayous around here in Florida. They're not actually Louisiana.
Wow.
They was all filmed here. So a lot of those roads that I drive every day were in that movie.
No shit.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the other connections I got in this area is I'm like kind of a huge Tom Petty fan.
Yes.
And one of my favorite Petty songs is Cassadaga.
Yeah, The Devil's Chair.
Was like a B-side to a track. Mm-hmm. So it's one of his lesser known songs, but I love it.
Yeah.
Because it kind of showcases, he's probably, I don't know if this is like kind of like gay to say, but like he's like one of the best screamers in rock and roll.
Yeah,
and
Tom
he
Petty
really
is
showcases it in Cassadaga.
For sure.
But like, have you been to that town?
I have, and
Yeah.
Cassadaga was a huge thing when I was a kid because I grew up in a Christian home, so it was stay away from
and to be clear,
Yeah.
that's like a Southern Christian home.
Yeah, Southern Christian, where it was we don't associate with the devil, and we don't do nothing that the devil does, and we don't watch Aladdin because there's magic in
You
it.
guys didn't get to watch Aladdin?
Oh
when you were
yeah,
kids?
no, we don't get to watch The Simpsons,
Because
and
the Muslims?
yeah, we don't watch The Simpsons because he pulls his pants down and
You
he
guys didn't
says,
watch The Simpsons when you were
"No, yeah, it was very strict."
I remember my mom
growing
made
up.
kind of a big deal about it, but I mean,
It was very strict what I could watch and what I could.
really?
I couldn't
Wow.
listen. I didn't even listen to secular music growing up. Like it was Christian music or nothing. No country music. No.
You couldn't even listen to country music?
No. Yeah. I grew up in a really strict home. Yeah. So the idea of Casadega.
You guys gotta listen to like some rock and roll though.
No. We listened to the Christian radio station, and that was it.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and I think the most country.
How old were you the first time you heard your first Rolling Stones song?
Man, I was probably. Well, when I went to work with my dad, that's when my mom was really religious. My dad was a more relaxed guy.
Yeah.
When I went to work with my dad over the summer, we listened to classic rock.
Yeah.
And that's really when I got my exposure to, Frankenstein and Rolling Stones and Tom Petty.
I was actually named after an eagle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was named after Timothy B. Schmidt.
Oh wow.
My pops. My folks both immigrated here in 81, which, like, when you come to America as an immigrant, you're always maybe at minimum 8 years behind.
Right.
So my dad was really big into the Eagles.
Yeah.
And when he knocked up my mom through whatever circumstances, they were trying to figure out a name, and my mom's maiden name starts with a T. So she wanted to name her first son a T, because I would have been, my grandpa he had 5 daughters, so there was never a male. I was the first male born in this side of the family tree, and so they wanted to name me with a T.
Yeah.
And my dad's like, well, Eagles, they got a dude named Timothy B. Schmidt. So, yeah, I'm named after that high-pitched dude from the Eagles.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
hold up real quick. And then when it came to naming my brother, it was me and my cousin Eric, who I was telling you about earlier, and we were big into Alvin, Simon, and Theodore.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking chipmunks.
Really? So is he named after the chipmunks?
So, yeah,
Theodore.
my mom was like, hey, we got to name this kid. He's due in like 2 months. We got to figure out a name. And she's like, I want to do it with another
little
T.
chunky Theodore.
And it was like, Eric was like Alvin, and I was like Simon. I was like, well, we're going to name him Theodore.
Well, good thing Teddy lost some weight, because he looked like Theodore there for a while.
Teddy Roosevelt or?
You're Teddy.
Oh, Chipmunk Teddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, no, we told him. We named him after President Teddy Roosevelt, Teddy Bear and everything.
Yeah, but
Teddy
it was
Roosevelt's
actually
probably one of the greatest presidents of all time, too.
But it was actually like Alvin and Chipmunks Theodore.
Yeah, he was named after the chipmunk.
But yeah, so the idea of the devil's chair and palm reading and all of that was, stay away from Casadega. You can't go over there. You're going to get possessed by the devil and you'll die.
Yeah.
But
Florida's got a big history with like pirates and
for sure. Yeah, I mean, St. Augustine is one of the oldest settlements. Yeah, St. Augustine is one of the oldest settlements in the country.
Man, I went there after the Jacksonville tournament, actually, with my mom.
Awesome visit, right?
Oh, dude, it was dope. Yeah, we went to Castillo Diego or whatever that is.
Right, yeah.
The big castle that's
big castle,
there.
Yeah.
And then up and down St. George Street,
yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah, St. George, you're right.
But yeah, we went to like Flagler College.
Yeah.
Which I didn't realize, like, Flagler is like one of your guys' like big playboys.
Yeah.
He was the first one that figured out, hey, we can make a fucking profit with snowbirds.
Yeah, getting people to move down here for the warmer weather.
Let's get these rich-ass dudes from New England come down here and just vacation down here. And he pretty much invented, like, the snowbird mentality.
Yeah. But, Casadega, 10 minutes from here, and one of the cemeteries is supposed to have the devil's chair, where if you go sit in the chair, you can actually get possessed by the devil.
Be a good place to drop some acid.
Yeah, exactly.
Smoke some DMT.
A lot of people go out there and do acid or mushrooms or something.
Yeah.
It's kind of a trippy place. There's it's one of the highest concentrations of palm readers and fortune tellers.
Yeah, there's a lot
state
of
Florida.
Mediums or whatever you want to say.
They say it is a place, a concentrated place for reaching beyond.
And you've been there before?
I have. Yeah.
When's the first time you've been there?
I think I was probably 16 years old.
So this is like
it was a big thing. It was a big thing to do when you were a kid. When you got old enough to be able to drive your own and go on your own, it was one of those things where like we have to go do it because our parents told us we could.
Yeah.
And I went and sat in the devil's chair, and
dang,
I went to a palm reader. Yeah, all in the same day. We did this like whole Casadega devil chair trip, where we sat in the devil's chair. We went to a palm
You should
reader.
do it with Ash while she's pregnant,
Oh,
just to see what's up.
no, I'm gonna bring the freaking Antichrist into this world.
Just to see what's up, you know.
Yeah, and I don't really believe in stuff like that, but I still want to be cautious about it. You never know what's the outside.
It's all entertainment.
You never know, man.
To me, it is. It's entertainment.
What could possibly be beyond our world? What could be in the fourth or fifth dimension that we don't really understand? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily believe in religion or the Bible, but I do think there are powers beyond our control.
I'm all open to the idea.
Yeah,
I don't think death is the finale, but
No,
but even if it is, then whatever.
I do still think even in our mortal realm now that there are spiritual things or powers beyond our control, like that we could possibly be. I don't want to say possessed because I don't want to go that far, but
dude, I always look at it like we only have so many senses, right?
yeah.
And there are some creatures on this earth that don't possess the sense of sight or the sense of smell.
Right, or that possess senses that we don't have, cats, dogs.
So
that.
Who's to say? Yeah, I mean, like, who's to say that like we're only limited to 5 senses? Like,
Right.
what if there is a sixth sense, or a
Fourth,
seventh
fifth
sense
dimensions
like that?
that we haven't experienced
Yeah,
yet.
there might
right.
be spiritual creatures here, like just sitting on the podcast that we just don't have the capability to receive that information.
Right, that could influence our thoughts or influence our lives or
you ever done any like psychedelics or anything?
I have. Yeah. I've done acid, I've done MDMA, I've done
wow, damn, you party.
Yeah, dude, my army days were
no shit.
for sure. Yeah, I mean I've done quite a bit. The only I've never done any injectables, but I've done a lot of drugs.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever stuck a needle in my arm. I mean,
that was my biggest fear.
Feeling the Dilaudid when you first get injured, like the painkiller.
Thank God for that.
I mean, that shit's money.
Love it. Yeah.
Growing up, like, I mean, pot's always been kind of like a big thing in Oregon.
Right.
But no, I've never done any like shrooms. I've done like DMT a couple times.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty good trip. Like MDMA, Molly.
Yeah.
Every now and then, but
I mean, honestly, I would rather do MDMA or Molly than smoke pot. Right at this point, I don't know what it is about me, but THC affects me in such a terrible way. Like I feel scared every time I take it. Smoke it, eat it, drink it, whatever it is. Anytime THC gets in my body, I am to the point of absolute anxiety.
I kind of like.
I'm absolutely afraid.
I like the vulnerability.
I don't because it's, okay. I told a friend this the other day. I was like, I don't have any anxiety in my everyday life, so I think maybe when I have THC, that all of my anxiety comes on at once.
Right. Okay.
Because I don't get anxious. I don't worry on a daily basis, but as soon as I feel THC hit my system, I am absolutely tripped out. Everything bothers me. I just want to go to bed and I want it to go away. And that's recent. It's just the last year and a half or so that's happened to me. I used to enjoy smoking. I used to enjoy eating edibles or
no, that isn't.
Last year and a half, I can't do it at all.
I wonder if it just amplifies the kind of state of mind you're in.
Yeah, and I've thought that too, and I've tried to change my state of mind as I'm doing it, or think about relaxing thoughts or this and that. And I've tried multiple.
Do you think that has anything to do with Ash's pregnancy? Or?
No, this was even before Ash's pregnancy. Like I would try and smoke, or I would try and take some edibles, or it's absolutely brutal. Like it's not fun or enjoyable at all. Yeah, it's not fun.
Would you attribute that to like maybe like you've been in Florida now, or?
No, this was even in Illinois. At the compound.
You've been engaged?
No, even before that.
Before that, wow.
Yeah, I think even the last time you you and I had smoked together at the compound. Um, I just
I
got.
don't recall, but
Of course you don't. You were stoned. No,
I have. I mean, yeah, I've been
but
consistently.
we've smoked pretty regularly together before that, and then one night at the compound, you and I smoked together, and it just felt oppressive. It felt like I felt sick, and
Oh wow.
I needed to lay down, and I needed to go to bed, and I needed to get rid of this feeling right away. And it's been like that ever since. Every time I've done any kind of THC, ever since then.
All right.
It's strange, and I hate it. It's unfortunate because I would love to do it and enjoy it, but
I'm not in that same camp where like I try to push it and tell people like, hey, it's for everybody.
yeah,
It's definitely for a lot more people that like need it but don't realize that like they would benefit from consumption. But I'm not one of those guys that's like gonna try to push it on everybody.
right. No, and
For me,
I
it's all,
used to enjoy it.
yeah,
I did.
For me, I mean, it's only been recently since maybe like the last 4 or 5 years. Because I know that feeling. Like, I used to get hella paranoid. And I really think it's like, it's just kind of the state of mind you're in.
Yeah,
And like, for me, man, like the last 4 years have just been so blessed and incredible where I'm in such a happy place. Like, I love life and where I'm at, and like despite being in a wheelchair and everything, like I mean I had zero plans to make it past 30,
right.
and now I'm sitting here at 32 and just like my life is just so incredible. I love every moment that I get.
Yeah. And you feel like smoking or doing THC enhances that?
I
It makes
mean,
you feel better or
it,
relaxed
it,
or
it helps me do a lot of the things such as like sleep, but then like also to be. I feel like I'm such a better person now
yeah.
in my 30s than I ever was in my 20s, especially before I got injured. But even like the 4 years after my injury, man, I was just such an aggressive person where I just wanted to like try to hurt people.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was like through rugby and.
I remember when I first met you, I didn't really like you.
Oh really? What?
Yeah, I felt like you were kind of in your face, aggressive person. I remember being like,
Damn, homie, tell me how you really feel.
no, I mean I'll be honest with you always.
Yeah. Okay.
I remember I felt like you were just
Was
kind
this
of
in Denver? Because that's when I my first memory of you was I think you and your pops were outside of the hotel eating at some deli or something.
yeah
I
Denver
think that's when we kind of exchanged numbers.
yeah.
But oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I thought, man, this guy's like in your face. You were kind of you're very honest, which at that time I didn't really like honesty because I was overweight and out of shape and
I pride myself
didn't really
on my
like
ability
myself.
to like just keep it real.
Yeah, well, and
And I guess sometimes that comes off as
well, and I think that's partially my fault too for not liking you because I didn't really like myself at that point. I was overweight and out of shape, and
you were going kind of through that emo phase where you kind of had that.
I had a
long
lip
hair.
piercing and long
Yeah,
hair.
yeah.
And yeah,
I
I
forgot
didn't
about
really.
the lip piercing.
Yeah, and looking back now, I realized that a lot of people that I didn't like, I liked because I didn't like. I didn't like because I didn't like myself. When I first met Ryan Lindstrom, I didn't like him because I thought he was judging me and that he was big. But this was all feelings I had about myself.
Yeah.
And I now realize that I just wanted to make myself better. So yeah, I don't really blame you for not liking you when I first met you because
No, I mean I
didn't really
get it.
like
I get it.
myself.
I honestly like the person that I am today. I don't think I would have liked myself in 2012 either.
Oh, same. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely not. Yeah,
No,
me.
That's the whole
me
part
either.
of like growing up and just being an adult. I was actually just talking with Ash about that earlier, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm going to like the roller rink. I'm going shopping with a bunch of kids tomorrow." I was just like, "Damn, we're like adults now."
Yeah, we're making adult decisions and paying bills and worrying about managing houses and things like
Does
that.
does any bit of that scare you
Yeah,
at all? Or?
not really because I've really been on my own since I was 16.
Yeah.
As soon as I graduated high school, I went into the Army. I I've been well. I don't want to say I've been on my own since I was young, but I've been thrust into adulthood. Like I said, I was a latchkey kid. So I came home, I cooked dinner, I knew how to take care of myself, I knew how to clean a house, I knew how to do my own laundry. I went into the military at 16. I had my spinal cord injury at 18. So I grew up really quickly. I knew how to take care of myself.
Are you? You're not 36, are
I'm
you?
34.
You're coming up on your 50.
I'll be 35
So
in April.
You're coming up on your 50-50 in the next 2 years.
Yeah, it'll be a while. Yeah, the next couple of years. Because this will be my 15th year of injury, so I've got still 3 years of my 50-50.
All right.
But I feel like I grew up really fast. Like I knew how to take care of myself, and I knew how to pay bills and write a check and do all these things that adults do at a younger age. And now I'm having a baby and I have a wife, and now it's all this new adulthood stuff.
Now, does like being in a chair, does any of that give like any extra concern? Like, do you feel like maybe I can't be the father that I need to be?
I feel like it more for my family than me. My sister and I went, and my wife and I went shopping the other day for strollers and this and that. We wanted to make sure everything was going to work for me. And my sister was like, "Oh, can you do this and can you do that?" And I'm like, "I'll figure it out." You know what? I get my chair in and out of my car. I do this and that. I do everything by myself now. Why can't, in a couple of months when the baby comes, can I figure out how to do this on my own? I understand it's a fragile human being, and I don't want to drop it.
Well, do you think that's like a veteran mentality?
I'm not sure because I've met some veterans that are pretty fucking soft and can't handle things on their own.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Then I've met some
the
people who
side,
aren't veterans
that
who
are
can
great
just
fathers.
kill it
Yeah,
and be a great father and do
look,
things
you
on
look
their
at
own.
guys like Joe Schneider.
Right.
I mean, Cody. I mean, to an extent, like Cody is a prison guard, but even then, like
he's not a military guy.
He's not considered a veteran.
I think it's just a mentality of let's get this shit done, whether we're disabled or not.
So that's not just exclusive to guys like us.
Like I think
it's a mentality thing. Like,
it's across the board. Yeah, it can
figure it out.
Yeah,
right. Like, dude, I don't understand why such, like, dude, because like one of the reasons why I got off Facebook was like I started getting involved with like some of these like SCI groups and everything, and it's just like complaining over and over and over, and it's just like, why don't, like, you guys are in a shitty situation. I understand that. I want to reason with you guys. But, like,
fix it.
Just figure it out.
Yeah.
And adapt and overcome.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Figure it out. Do it for yourself. Like,
yeah, it frustrates me.
Bad. Like, it's not going to be normal.
Yeah.
But there ain't going to be no normal.
But what's the idea of normal anyway? You know, no one person is the same. I don't care if you go across the street to this able-body's house.
Dude, yeah,
and you ask him how he cooks an egg, and you go across the street to that able-body's house, they're going to cook their eggs different.
There's 7 billion people on this earth.
It doesn't matter.
Every life experience is different.
What the level of normal is. It really doesn't matter.
What is it? What is normal?
Yeah.
So, like, just do what works for you. And
well, and I don't think some of my family appreciates the answer of I'll figure it out. Because I really will figure it out.
Right.
When it comes time to figure it out.
Well, especially when it comes to another child's life.
Right. And I've seen a lot of my friends who have the same or less function than I do. Joel, for example, Caleb, for example, have children, and they've raised their children, and they carry their children, and they feed them, and they move them from place to place, and they get them in and out of the car, and they do all of these things that need to be done for a child. And my family looks at me and they say, "How are you going to do it?" And I go, like that? Like they do it? And they're like, "Oh, but I haven't seen that." I have. I know what I'm going to do, so it's fine. Don't worry about it. You know, and they don't trust that answer because they haven't seen the same things I have.
Yeah.
And we were in Bye Bye Baby, which is a kind of like a store for all baby stuff. And my sister was with me, and she was quizzing me on how to get the stroller in and out and the car seat in and out. And I'm like, look, I'm going to figure this out.
Right.
This is my child. I'm going to keep her safe. no matter what I have to do.
Yeah.
Whether the car seat stays on the side of the fucking road or not, I'm going to make sure the baby is safe. And you don't have to worry about.
I don't think that natural. I mean, obviously, I don't know because I'm not a father, but I feel like when you have your own child, like there's nothing in like you're gonna do.
I would
everything,
throw myself on a grenade.
You're gonna do everything in your capability.
Yeah.
And I would just venture to say like we're just so much more capable to do things where society kind of looks at us like we're insufficient. It's like
Right.
we're much more capable of. I mean, you look at even guys like Ed Sir and Gumby who are
Have kids.
low level
Yeah.
quadriplegics, and like some of their kids are going to be
Still take great care of their
dude,
children.
they're going to be super athletes.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to invest in a
Well,
child,
and
like,
I feel like it's also experience too, because I don't think Ash is worried at all that I'm going to be able to take care of a baby because she spends the time with me. She sees what I can do.
yeah.
My sister, no matter how much time she spends with me, she doesn't spend nearly as much time with me as my wife does.
And also with the comparison, because like Ash has been kind of exposed to the disabled community a little more.
Yeah, to see what other parents have done in the same situation, other fathers have done. So I do give my sister a bit of a break on that point. But yeah, like I say, my wife has been around me a lot more. She sees what I can do, and she knows that if it's me and the baby together, I'm going to make sure the baby's fine.
Right.
Where my sister is a little worried because she doesn't see the same perspective.
Yeah. No. It's an interesting set of challenges.
Which I actually just picked up on because you said it. And now that I'm thinking about it, like, oh, yeah, okay, my sister hasn't been around the disabled community as much as my wife has.
That's the great thing about the podcast is like, a lot of the viewers, a lot of them are in our community, which is all great because, like, it is a small joint. And then, there are some viewers that, like, listen that are completely
inexperienced.
Yeah, for sure.
Ignorant, if you will.
Like, that video that I made when I was transferring to that tall bed.
Right.
One of my viewers, Mitzi, she shared it, and I got a lot of sad reactions on her Facebook from it, and I was like, wait a minute, why
are we sad?
I don't get why this is sad. And I texted her about it, and I was like, what's up with all the sad reactions? And she's just like, oh, these are just people that maybe have never even seen a guy in a wheelchair, and like they're looking at him like
Don't you normally sleep in your chair?
Like struggling to like get into bed.
Where's your caregiver? Did she forget about you?
Right. No, and it was just like, well, yeah, you need to tell him. Like,
yeah, I mean, we need to think about the outside perspective every once in a while to realize that most people they're not asking dumb questions. They're asking questions because they don't understand the daily life. Because I remember when I first got in a wheelchair, man, I had no idea about a physical injury. I thought
we were all retarded.
Exactly. Me too. The only people that I'd ever seen in a wheelchair or with disabilities was mental disabilities. I had no idea about a physical disability. I didn't know about amputations. I didn't know about spinal cord injuries. I had absolutely no idea. So you have to remind yourself on occasion that people just don't fucking know. They're ignorant.
Yeah.
They want to help. So when they come and ask you if they can help you put your chair in your car, they don't realize that this is not your first time out.
Yeah.
Getting out of your car and going to the grocery store.
Honestly, that's why I'm always nice to those folks. Like the people that are like always, anytime I'm like getting my chair in the bed of my truck, they're like, do you need any help? And I'm like, no, I'll be all right. Like I got this.
Yeah, I don't bark at people. I don't yell at people because I realize that they're just trying to help you.
Well, also because maybe one day they might ask somebody who might need help,
and then
they're like, I'm not gonna ask that guy because
he was a dick.
The last guy was a
that
dick.
Vietnam veteran stabbed me in the neck.
Right. Yeah.
Fucking asshole. But yeah, no. The only thing that actually bothers me is like, can I pray for you, people?
Oh, dude. Well, okay, yeah. I got a gripe with those dudes, but There was one time, and I brought this up on a podcast a couple episodes back, but we had a low point tournament in
Reno?
Phoenix.
Phoenix.
It was in Phoenix, and I was downstairs. I might have been smoking a cigarette, and then like some of the Seattle boys started rolling up, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna go up to this room. We got a bottle." Like I was like, "All right, let's go."
Do
And yeah, I ended up like killing a bottle of these dudes, and they're like, "We're gonna go up to Mill Avenue."
Jeremy Hanford.
Yeah, it was Jeremy and like Eric and the
Eric
boys.
Bell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I think I actually heard about this story because I was going to come to this low point tournament with you.
Oh, bro, dude, yeah.
What happened?
So they ended up like they wanted to go out to Mill Avenue, which we had to get on the little light rail, and it was like 3 stops down. And by the time we went in the, I was still conscious. We went down the elevator, and I remember stopping at the bar because I ran into Chris Cook.
Yeah, Cookie.
We might have took a shot
Or 2.
and then I blacked out. Somehow navigated my way to the light rail. Took my ass down to Mill Ave, and I had flipped out of my chair, and somehow this Christian group, they've been just walking down the street spreading their propaganda.
Yeah.
At this dude, me, who fell on out of his chair. I was like, "Hey, can y'all pick me up?" They picked me up, threw me in their chair, and then they started praying over me. And
They wanted to heal you.
oh,
make sure
yeah,
you
dude.
could walk.
I mean, at that point, I was just full of all sorts of demons. So,
Just
yeah,
get the fuck out of here.
Maybe it kind of helped me, you know. They kind of exorcised the demons out, and yeah, they were praying over me, and like Fleece ended up finding me, and
Yeah,
Jeremy
please
was
tell
like-
me the story.
yeah, Jeremy's
Jeremy.
like, "Dude, we got to get him back to the hotel." And Fleece ended up being my escort back to the hotel, and somehow
0.5 exercise.
completely blacked out, dude. I felt like the hangover the next day because I had to go.
What happened?
I had to go talk to people to get pieces of the story and figure
And
out.
apologize.
Yeah, and figure out what piece went here and there.
Oh,
And,
shit.
man, it was embarrassing. That was one of the last times that I blacked out, but
It happens to the best of us,
it was
brother.
worth it, dude. I was hanging out with my boys, and
It happens to the best of us.
low points don't fuck around.
The last time I think I blacked out real bad was our trip to Vegas. That New Year's.
Oh,
that
damn,
New Year's
that
Eve we went
was
to Vegas.
8 years ago,
Yeah,
2012. That was my first year in
man.
Vegas.
it was a blast.
Oh man, I had a
Mike
great time.
Larson, Noah Courier, me,
Renee was
you,
there,
Renee,
Brewer was there,
Moore-
Teddy was
Brewer,
there.
Teddy. We
Yeah,
had
Teddy
a
had just turned
room.
21.
We had a room full of liquor in your room, and we just got blasted before we even went
Yeah.
to the New Year's party. Like 8 o'clock at night, we were all blasted
well,
already.
okay, so the backstory was Teddy had just turned 21.
Yeah,
His birthday is December 10th.
Yeah.
And I moved to Vegas, so I didn't get to celebrate his birthday with him. But I was like, come down to Vegas for New Year's, man. I'll show you a hell of a time. And the day before, I was playing blackjack. When I lived in Vegas, I was the huge.
yeah. No, I remember you telling me
poker
you
player.
were poker, blackjack. You won a
Um,
bunch of money. You
and
paid your rent.
Yeah, so so I was playing blackjack, and I think I won like 6.5 G's
Yeah.
that night. And I was like, "Yo, Teddy, like we're going to strip club, champagne room. Next day, we're gonna go buy some liquor. Do
We
whatever
we
want."
did like the VIP room. We had our own
Mhm.
table. Like we had vodka brought to the table, like Grey Goose, like a gallon bottle of Grey Goose
Yeah.
and juice brought to the table.
Yeah, and then we refilled it too because we had a
Yeah.
bottle of Grey Goose
Oh
up in
my
the room,
God.
so we just refilled
Multiple bottles. After the first bottle of Grey Goose.
it. Oh,
like,
that was when I want to say that was when Compton Timmy was born.
yes, Compton Tim.
Yeah, I decided.
He was all the black girls were yours in the nightclub that night.
Hey, you're gonna get yours. But yeah,
Oh,
man, that was a hell of a night.
Yeah.
Problem was the next day, I had to be out in Phoenix because I had tickets for the fucking Fiesta Bowl. And the Ducks were playing Kansas City.
Yeah.
No, they were playing Kansas State.
Yeah.
And so I had to be out in Phoenix the next day, and so I dipped out. And then you called me and you're like, yo, I'm in the hospital.
Yep.
And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, yeah, man, I fucking came down with some the shits.
Alcohol poisoning.
And I had to fucking go to the hospital last night. But they left my room they left my chair in the hotel room.
Absolutely brutal.
I was like, all right, yo, Teddy's still there. Let me give him a call.
Dude, I ended up going to the hospital at about it was probably like 2 in the afternoon the next day because we didn't get back to the room until 4 or 5 in the morning.
I don't even remember any of that.
Yeah, it was like 4 or 5 in the morning. We got back to the room. I ordered room service, and I swear it was a room service, but it was probably alcohol poisoning that had made me sick. I shit all over the room, all over myself.
Bro,
I went to the bathroom multiple times.
Teddy remembered going and getting your wheelchair, and he thought there were just dirt tracks.
It was like dead bodies, man.
And Teddy was like, yo, did fucking Chris go like off-roading last night or what? I didn't find out until later that it was just doo-doo. It
was the worst ever. I went to the hospital completely naked because I had taken all my clothes off. And I'm like, dude, I've got no clothes. They wanted to send me home from the hospital. No clothes, no wheelchair, no nothing. And they're like, okay, you can go home now. I'm like, how?
Yeah. I can't get into a cab like this.
Yeah, I'm fucking naked. I've got no wheelchair. What the fuck? These are the experiences of our lives. And then I decided to go to the body museum the next day.
Oh, did
cool.
you? Like
the body exhibit. I went the same day.
Yeah. I went to go see that when I was in Portland, man. That was insane.
I was so dehydrated. I'm carrying around a bottle of Pedialyte.
I remember seeing when I went to the Body Worlds when they went to Portland, seeing the nerve system.
Oh, dude.
And I was like,
amazing.
If you fall from the C5 down.
Like the connections, right? You can see the branches of it. It's like a tree.
You know what really blew my mind was I forget what body organ shit it was, but realizing like when I cath.
Oh, the feeling, the tingly.
I'm sticking a 14 French tube up my dick hole.
Yeah.
But like seeing it on the nerve and being like, oh, that is going way up.
That's why it connects
all the way to my bladder.
Yeah.
All the way up into my bladder. I was like, wow.
It all makes sense now. The cool part for me was the heart, where they broke down the different levels of the heart, like the muscle and then the nerves and then the ventricles. Mm-hmm. Like to see the intricacy of that muscle that pushes the blood through your body, and that's the whole life support system for everything. It was just super cool.
Yeah.
I really enjoy stuff like that. Biology and history is just I enjoy it.
Biology is interesting. Dude, I didn't even know what a spinal cord injury was until
no idea. Same thing. Like we were talking about earlier. Like I had seen people with mental retardation and physical injuries, but I just didn't make the connection. Like I grew up in a small town, like I didn't know what was going on, and as soon as they brought in a wheelchair, I was like, oh my god, everybody's gonna think I'm retarded now. Like this is my life now. I'm a fucking retard. And then realizing that there's a whole world of physical injuries beyond what mental retardation is.
That's one thing that I'm so fortunate that I still have. Like my brain, because of the nature of my injury, like I don't have a TBI, so like my brain is so fully intact that I consider it the strongest muscle that I have, and that's why I'm always trying to like learn and grow and like expand myself as like a human being and just take everything in. Because
I love education, and I didn't for the longest time. Like I hated school, and I just wanted to get out. Like we talked about.
Dude, I was the same way, dude.
Like we talked about earlier, right? My whole escape from college was going to the military. There was a whole reason I didn't want to, or one of the biggest reasons I wanted to go to the military was because I didn't want to go to school anymore. I was so done, and my parents were like, oh, well, you want to go to college? I was like, fuck no. Get me out of here. So, but now I've realized how much I love education. I love watching Jeopardy, and I love reading books, and I love history, and I want to learn languages and certifications. I have, I'm not a fan of going to college, but I have hundreds of certifications. I have adaptive sports certification and a wheelchair modifications certification and diving certification. And
Yeah.
I just like learning how to do different things without the traditional idea of education. Right now I'm reading Shakespeare just because I never have.
No, you're doing it for a beggar. I mean, you're trying to get on
I
Jeopardy.
I do want to get on Jeopardy. I have a tryout for Jeopardy, a test later.
I will say this,
later
man.
this evening.
If we're doing like barroom trivia and I can pick one teammate, I mean, 100%. You're my first round draft pick.
I do have a ridiculous, stupid knowledge of just stupid stuff. Like I remember, I have a memory. I don't think it's necessarily knowledge. It's just a memory of things.
Just being
facts.
Like recall information.
Yeah, and I can do it quickly. Like most of the time I can answer a Jeopardy question before they even ring in on the show. Like I feel like I have a good recall if I know it. Obviously if I don't, it's gone, but I enjoy stuff like that.
Would you say you want to donate, like if you do end up on Jeopardy, would you want to donate your winnings to a cause or anything? Or
I would, yeah. It's the same cause we were talking about earlier. I think I would want to find a charity that supports people with disabilities that aren't necessarily veterans or just a regular people with disabilities. You know, people that need a wheelchair or people that need catheter supplies or something like that. I think that's been my heart lately.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. It's definitely like a good cause to like get behind.
Yeah,
because it does suck. Like I was saying earlier, like the service connected veterans, like we're kind of in the top 1%. Like we got it so good.
I can't imagine getting a new wheelchair every 5 years. We get an opportunity to get a new wheelchair every 2 years, and even at that point in 2 years, my chair is pretty broken down. I can't imagine trying to make a chair last 5 years because it's something you're in every day. It's like putting a pair of glasses on your face.
It's your shoes.
Or shoes or a jacket that you wear every day. I can't imagine trying to make it last 5 years.
Yeah.
So, the helping people with disabilities that aren't well off is definitely something that is close to my heart.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, that even goes back to like, because like you're like, they do give like a certification for like the Brooks mentorship.
Yes,
kind of
yeah,
thing.
I'm a Christopher Reeve Foundation certified peer mentor. So I do see a lot of people without insurance or without service connection that are disabled that I go in to talk to them in the hospital and they're newly injured, and I try and teach them about adaptive sports and about life and cathing and pooping and getting married and having babies.
Has that been a pretty rewarding experience for you personally?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And you hate to take the idea of volunteering and giving a piece of yourself as a rewarding experience, but there's no other way to say that it's not rewarding.
I mean, why not? You know, like I mean, guys like us serve inspiration porn for other people. So
for sure.
What's to say, like, why can't we have our inspiration porn fix? You know.
Yeah.
Like that's why I like hanging out with certain guys with other disabilities that might be way more severe than mine, especially neck down quads and
right.
No,
it's great to see somebody go from laying in the bed and thinking their life is over to, oh shit, maybe I can get in my car and I can actually drive, or I can feed myself, or I can brush my own teeth, or
dude, it took me a while before I could drive because I wanted to be able to transfer into a chair.
Yeah.
So I mean, I got hurt in 2008, and I don't think I drove until about maybe the summer of 2010. So it took me about 2 years.
Yeah, it really is an amazing thing to be able to just show somebody that you think is a part of your everyday life, very basic, like, oh, this is how I hold a toothbrush, or this is how I hold a fork.
Well, dude, that's how I with like rugby, man. Like before before I got really exposed to rugby, I was using the fork holder with the Velcro strap and the built up foam.
You had to take it everywhere with you.
Yo, yeah, dude. Well, I ran through a checklist. It was A, B, C. I needed to have my accessories, so my shit to fucking eat food, or else I'm ordering chicken strips at a restaurant. But like, I needed to make sure I had my fork holder, my spoon holder, and that was A. B was battery for the fucking power assist wheels.
Right.
Make sure, I had a fully charged thing because, like, if we're going to go to the zoo, like, I want to make sure
if you want to go anywhere independently, right, to be able to be with a girl or anything. Yeah.
And then C was catheters. Condoms. No.
Catheters. I knew what you were going to say.
Man, this ain't the 90s, man. I maybe worn a condom maybe less than a dozen times in my life, man. I fucking roll the dice when it comes to shit like that. But no, it was catheters. It was catheters. It was like, make sure you can fucking go piss when you got to piss.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going out to the bars.
Well, and it's all about the thing about whether if you want to be with a girl or not, or you want to be with a partner, right? If you're going to go out and be independent, you better make sure if you're going to go to somebody else's house, at the end of the night, you can take care of yourself.
That was the thing, man.
You can get into their bed, into their house.
Well, when I came home, I mean, I just turned fresh 21, so we were still going out to, like, house parties.
Same.
We were just starting to go out to the bars, and it was like, you better make sure you got some catheters because you don't want to be that liability. Tell your friends, like, oh, dude, I forgot this. Like,
we got to go back to the house.
I got to go back home.
I need a pair of jeans because I pissed on myself.
Dude, I remember when the first time I was going out to the bars, like, I still wasn't even transferring into bed by myself. So,
like, there's no way you're getting laid, right? You can't even tell this girl how to get you into bed.
I'd have to wake up my mom and be like, hey, can you get the Hoyer lift out? Like,
to help me get into bed with this girl.
Me in the bed, and then, like,
I remember that too.
Yeah. No, dude, I remember the first time I brought a chick home from the bar, and it was like I was still in the hospital bed, which was still kind of cool at the time because, like, you had the fucking you could bring
up and down.
You could bring the head of the bed up, and there was all sorts of, like, places like there was, like, grab bars and everything if you needed some more leverage. But I remember just being like, well, I don't drive, so, like, you got to call somebody and fucking get him over to come pick you up because I can't take you home.
I remember this one time. This is probably maybe 3 years after I had just got injured. I had gone down to the bar right here in downtown Atlanta called Issues. And
Issues
is
the kind of girls you'd looking to find there, right? They put it right on the billboard, man.
Issues. All of them have issues. Yeah. So I picked up this girl, and she wanted me to come back to her house. I'm like, all right, fine. I had my van at that point, and I was driving from my chair. I got to her.
So you went to her house.
I went to her house. Yeah. And there's a huge step at the front door. First issue.
Obstacle number one.
Obstacle number one. And I'm like, all right, we can handle this. She pops me up the door, and I'm struggling to get in the door. She finally gets me in the door, takes me to her bedroom, and her mattress is on the floor. I'd never transferred that low or that high before. I throw myself onto the floor, and
I mean, at that point, I would figure, like, a young dude, all he's thinking about is, like, I'm going to just get into it. I'm going to figure out how to get out of it later.
Exactly. That was my thought. She leaves, disappears. She decides she's sick. She's throwing up all over the place. She's out of her mind.
Was this before or after you popped your dick out?
This was before.
Okay.
Yeah. So she's sick. She's throwing up. She can't help me. I'm yelling to have her get me back in my chair because I can't get up off the floor by myself.
Yeah.
And her sister's like, shut the fuck up. What's this guy doing in my house?
Damn.
I'm like, oh, my God, I got to get out of here. So I figure out how to get back in my chair. I get back in my chair. I try. Yeah, figuring it out. I just want to go home at this point. I've been so embarrassed. I hate it. I try to get back out of the house. I try to pop down the step at the front door, and I fall out of my chair. The chair rolls all the way across the yard. Nobody's answering me inside the house. Her sister hates me.
Oh, damn.
The girl I came home with is throwing up in the bathroom sick. She can't hear me. I call 911.
Oh,
I've got the
wow.
the fire truck.
Shout out to the Land Fire Department.
The Land PD picking me up, putting me back in my chair so I can get back in my house and get back in my chair, get back in my car, and go home.
Yeah.
This was the worst experience of my life.
What was your feeling after that? Like,
I was like, man,
it had been a little bit traumatic.
it was like I felt like, man, I'm never gonna hook up with a girl. I'm never gonna be able to have a regular relationship, have sex on my own, or
because that's like a big issue, right? Especially, I mean, for like some single young strapping lads.
yeah, 18, 19 years old. Like,
Yeah.
how am I gonna hook up with a girl if I can't go back to her house on the same night? If I can't, because that's all you see, right? In modern culture is like, if I meet a girl in the bar, I've got to go home and have sex with her that night, and then we hook up at that point.
I mean, bluntly put.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it is. Yeah.
That's the way it looks. And,
I mean, yeah, on the real for sure.
And my thought was, man, shit, maybe I'm going to be single for the rest of my life. If that's what it's going to look like for me at that point.
When did you finally realize like you were kind of over that hump?
I guess when I moved to Jacksonville, I met a recreation therapist.
What year was that?
Man, that was 2009.
Yeah.
That was when I first started playing wheelchair rugby.
Okay.
And I moved to Jacksonville.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Brooks.
Yeah, Brooks Rehab.
Fresh crop of interns rotating.
Fresh crop of interns, girls who knew what sex in a wheelchair was like.
Oh, man. That's how it was for me when I moved to, I'm not going to name names, but like, yeah, when I went to Lakeshore,
yeah,
it was just like, oh.
There are people who know how to make this happen.
Students coming in and out, and they're just trying to figure them things out. And
you know what the unfortunate thing is that they don't show you this kind of relationship in rehab as a young man.
Oh, I remember watching them sex tapes though.
I remember the sex tapes, but it's not relevant to a young person's kind of thing, because all the sex tapes that I saw was with a married couple.
They need to do some modern
they're already in a relationship.
Oh, damn, you're totally right. Yeah,
they were already in a relationship. They already knew.
But it was like trying to find some strange.
Yeah,
yeah.
It wasn't the same.
Put, like, I mean, that's. Yeah.
It wasn't the same of trying to. I just met somebody, I want to hook up with him tonight, kind of thing. It was we're already in a relationship, so this girl knows how to transfer me into bed and knows how to fuck me.
Oh man, yeah, that's
right?
exactly my that was my issue.
I saw those same videos you saw. Like, but that girl knew how to transfer me into bed. This girl has no idea what she's talking about.
Yeah,
so I had no idea how to direct my care and tell her, hey, this is how you help me get into bed. This is how you help me get out of it.
She doesn't know what she's getting herself into yet.
Exactly.
I get that. Oh, damn, that's crazy.
That
was a struggle back in the day.
But we learned. We figured it out.
Yeah, no, we do. Yeah.
And we've had great relationships since then. And obviously, I have a wife and a baby on the way.
I think a lot of it was just, I mean, I learned a lot of it was just through the vet games. And it was just like being around that community. And
right. Yeah.
I mean, like, shout out to like any of the volunteers, but like the volunteers were kind of like easy pickings.
Girls who liked the chair chasers.
I don't want to even say chair chasers. I want to maybe say like maybe more like chair curiosos.
Chair curiosos.
Yeah, like they were just kind of wondering what it would be like. Hey,
and I think it's less about the chair and more about they wanted to hook up, whether it was
it kind of evens the playing field where it's like they see so many chairs where it doesn't even come about the chair anymore. It's more about like the personality.
Yeah.
I would say most of the girls that like I've been with, like, they obviously weren't physically attracted to me. I mean, fuck, look at me.
Come on, Timmy, you're beautiful.
I mean, in some circles, sure.
No, bro.
But I mean, I'll be real. Like, yeah, like. But, like, I feel like once a person, like, kind of, like, gets to know the personality, and then, like, we click on that certain level.
Yeah.
Then things really start to
kind of, I feel like that's any relationship that's not superficial. You get to.
But that's how it starts, though.
Superficial, of course.
No, yeah, 100%. Yeah. I mean, even guys in chairs, like
100% superficial.
Oh, for sure. Even guys in chairs. I mean, I'll look at a girl and be like, she's probably in my league, but
Yeah.
I punch above my weight class, so
Yeah.
I'm
But I mean,
I would probably. I mean,
I feel like you could punch above your weight class because of your intellectual ability and your conversation
right,
skills.
but you have to kind of go the extra mile, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you're already at a disadvantage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where, I mean,
I feel like honestly, it's a less of a disadvantage than people give it account for because we have that bit of mystery and also the fear. Like nothing bad's gonna happen with this guy because he can't hurt me. Because I can fight him.
That's
Kind
the
of thing.
girls' side of the coin. Where
Yeah.
like talking with some of the girls that we know in the chair, where it becomes like a conquest.
Right. Yeah. For men to be able to
I mean,
look
I'm
at
a
the other
guy, so
direction.
I know, but it's like I could see the appeal where like, hey, oh, this chick's in a chair. Like that's a bucket list item.
Yeah, which is unfortunate, because
Really does suck. Yeah, for them.
Yeah,
for sure.
it's such a sad thing with sexuality that women are. I'm trying to think of the proper words, like projected as weaker or the lesser.
I always feel like men want to be in that masculine role and try to exert dominance and everything, and it's like the perception is you can dominate a girl in a wheelchair easier than you can a girl who's an able-bodied, which is a misconception for sure.
Yeah, I really, and especially with me having a daughter, and I think about it more and more is the American idea of sexuality and this idea of that men can take whatever they want and women are weak and we can take. I just hate that idea, and I mean I love to sound progressive and I hate to sound progressive at the same time, but I really want to empower women to tell them that, man, if you don't want to be with somebody, get them the fuck away from you. Like just punch them in the dick if they are trying to force themselves on you. Like I hate the rape culture.
The thing though, man, like,
I really hate it.
It's kind of hard because like we got a president who I'm not trying to bring it to a political side of things, but it's more of a cultural thing where we got a president now who openly
grabbed her by the pussy.
Grab him by the pussy, and it's just like
it's upsetting.
Is that the example we want to set? Like, because when
really
I was
upsetting.
growing up, like the president was like
the highest standard of moral
yeah,
correctness.
It was like I remember looking at like being the president, like that was the top of the pyramid, like that's the prime
but then,
example.
Unfortunately, we had Bill Clinton. It was the same kind of thing.
Yeah, but then I was just like, he's fucking human. He's just trying to get his dick sucked, like from a woman who isn't.
You could say that same thing about Trump. No.
I make that same argument where I'm just like, why do we even care? Who cares if dude, he's a billionaire. Let him bang a fucking porn star. That's his right. Isn't that every fucking boy's dream is to bang their fucking porn star fucking girlfriend?
Yeah, I feel like the exchange is when you start to use your power or influence to force someone to do something they don't want to. And I feel like it's a very fine line, and I hate to try and divide the line because it's very hard to divide the line between a woman who has decided to have sex with a man because he's powerful or a man who has forced a woman to have sex with him because he's powerful. Yeah. I feel like it's a very fine line, and I hate to try and divide it. I really do.
I mean, it's really a hard situation, but like you look at like there are women that have used.
Yep. Agreed. 100%.
Bluntly put their vaginas to advance their position.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen that in the military where it's
all
like
day long.
Fuck your way up the ranks.
All day long.
And
barracks hose.
Oh yeah.
Just trying to get a guy to get her pregnant because she wants the money.
Yeah, and
that goes along with having a military.
Oh yeah, the barracks. Well, I mean that goes to the same like ratio mentality where it's it was especially in the Marines where, I mean, there's far less female Marines than there are male Marines.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure the same was true with the Army. But yeah, there were those barrack rats where it was just like they had their pick.
Yeah.
Every single night of
Whoever they wanted.
what they wanted.
Yeah.
Where every guy was competing
To get with them.
I mean, it was a buyer's market, man.
It's such a crazy thing to get into when you talk about sexuality and the rape culture and all of those things that go along with that. It's such a sensitive thing because, man, you just don't know who's telling the truth a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Whether somebody has been manipulated or not, or whether they're manipulating the system for money, or it's such a scary thing because sexuality is made to be so scary.
Dude, I will say
the
this,
time that we're
though.
kids.
So when I was in, like, Don't Ask, Don't Tell wasn't kind of a thing, but then I want to say 2 years after I got out, like, it was okay to be gay in the military.
Yeah.
And to be honest, man, I probably 100% would have married my best friend, my best dude friend.
Yeah.
Just for the benefits.
Yeah, dude.
Hey,
I talked about it all the time with my buddy.
You want to move out together?
BAH, motherfucker.
Get that BAH? You want to move out together?
Hell yeah,
like,
dog.
get that fucking off-base housing. Like, hey, let's do it, dude.
We're gonna be LTs tomorrow.
Yeah, we're gonna have a great time. It's gonna be a fuck palace. Like, dude, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get our own hot tub in the backyard.
Do whatever.
We'll have girls
man.
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just the unfortunate thing of, there's always a way to make money and a way to take advantage of people. And I feel like some people have taken advantage of people who have actually been taken advantage of.
Right.
And that's the unfortunate part. I want to protect the people who have really been taken advantage of and been hurt. But there's so many people there who are trying to take advantage of that.
Agreed.
And it's just unfortunate to try and to search out the liars.
Yeah, how do you? I mean that even goes to like with the service connected disability. Like, you got so many guys that are faking PTSD and like people saying, military sexual drama and like all of those cases. What really sucks is like all of those things really exist
and have really happened to people.
Yeah.
But there are people who are trying to take advantage of the system. And it seems like honesty is a failing part of our society.
Oh, yeah, agreed.
People will lie and cheat and steal just to get ahead, when it feels like if you just were honest with yourself and did something positive with your life, you could get ahead just fine.
Yeah, no, this is like whatever happened to hard work, whatever happened to just putting your nose down on the grindstone and just doing it.
Yeah, it seems like there's this mentality of, if I lie and if I say that this happened to me, that I can take advantage of the system, I can sue somebody. I'll sue you mentality, like
especially on the West Coast, man. I mean, California,
McDonald's coffee mentality.
The sue culture is insane.
Yeah,
because there'll be people that will go to a restaurant.
I tripped over the sidewalk, and you owe me $1 million.
Well, dude, so like my uncle has a Thai restaurant in Oakland, and he got sued a couple years ago over because his bathroom wasn't handicap accessible.
Yeah,
and it was just like, and it come to find out, like the dude. Like, that was his profession, was he was a lawyer, and he would just go around in different restaurants and try to break him on code and then just fucking piss himself because he couldn't get to the restaurant and be like, oh, you owe me this amount of money. And it's like, I feel like that helps our culture a little bit because, like, okay, now the restaurant has the compliant code and everything. But then at the same time, like, it hangs like a different stigmata against the disabled community because it's like now we're looked at like we're kind of a liability in that
Yeah.
society has to cater
As soon as somebody in a
to us.
wheelchair comes into your restaurant, oh shit, I better make sure everything's okay
Yeah, I gotta
because
do, yeah.
I don't want to lose another $1 million to this guy.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
And it's
it's
just like, what are we really complaining about? Like, okay, so sorry I can't slide my chair under the table, but is that
what
real?
happened to the idea of a conversation between me and you?
Or
The
a
same
conversation compromise,
the
right?
same thing that we're doing right now, you know?
Yeah.
Like I come into your restaurant and hey man, I can't get into the bathroom. Oh shit, dude, I'm sorry. I didn't realize. Let me fix it for you.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you
Or
know,
like, what can we do to make it work?
couple of
You
weeks,
know, it's
I can get that together
it's
for you.
finding a compromise. I feel like, and it's
Yeah.
so much easier to do at like the tribal small
The
unit.
one-on-one level
Right.
instead of the massive
Right.
universal level.
Because now every day, and like, if nothing goes right, like instead of complaining, like let's say I go to your restaurant, I can't get in the restroom. Instead of complaining to you directly,
I'm going to take it to the
I'm
entire
gonna
U.S.
post it
government.
on Twitter.
Yeah.
I'm gonna post it on Twitter and say, "Hey, fucking Chris Hall Barbecue Shack,
Yeah.
inaccessible, and he hates fucking disabled veterans because I can't go."
And he has
pick
to
up
have
his."
the 36-inch door or nothing.
Yeah, right. Like it's like at a certain point we need to meet in the middle. You know what I mean?
At what point, where can our regulations be too much? Where can we say that? I don't want to say that access for all just
There's
changes
got to be a
it all, but-
compromise. I mean, I
Yeah.
think that's the fucking word of the
But
day.
but it has to be on a basis, yeah. And the unfortunate the thing too is that now we have access to travel the entire world,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So
Oh, dude, like how many times have we been in a spot where they're like, we can't accommodate wheelchairs?
and we're like, all right, we'll find a spot down the road.
Yeah.
We move on. But
I mean, there was that one bum time when we went to that pontoon in Bali, and captain of the boat was like, "Yeah, you guys can't go to the island
yeah,
because the beach has
the boat's
sand."
not safe or the beach,
The beach
sand.
has
It
sand,
was like
and-
we can handle sand, guy.
I was like, "Sand's fine."
Yeah, yeah. It's unfortunate when people put limitations.
I think that's
On
just a
us.
stigmata, also as well.
Yeah, well, I don't like when people put limitations on us and they say, "Oh, you can't do this because we say you can't do
Well,
it."
don't tell me my limits.
Yeah,
Let me
exactly.
find my limits.
Yeah.
Right.
Like if I can't fit in the bathroom door, fine. That's an obvious limitation.
That's happened.
That's an
so
obvious
many times.
limitation.
Yeah.
But if you tell me because you don't think it's safe that I can't go on the sand, how about you let me try it first?
Right. Right.
And then you can tell me it's not safe. But
Yeah.
don't try and tell me it's not safe because you think I might fall or you think I might hurt myself.
Right. Yeah. And I don't know, man. I'm just that's why I think it's important for especially American veterans who have it better than anybody in the disabled community. Like we should be the leaders and we should be setting the example. Like
Letting
Hey,
people know. Yeah.
don't let this or that limit you from enjoying your life, and like let's get out in the community and show and being representative, because I think a lot of it is like a bar is not gonna make their bathroom accessible because they have never ever had a wheelchair person, a crippled person
Right.
that came out, but it's like there might be 4 or 5 in that community, but they don't ever go out because it's not accessible for them,
Right.
or they're afraid it's not going to be accessible for them. But it's like until you start going out and saying, "Hey, I'm here."
It's all about the
Like-
margins, right? For the businesses, like 90% of us aren't disabled, right? 90% of the people go in there. The door is 12 feet wide. They can fit in there just fine.
Yeah.
But the 10% of us that want to go out and we can't get in there, and one time we go there and we decided we can't get in there, we just don't go back.
Yeah.
And then we don't make a big deal about it. And now it's not accessible for those other 15, 20 people in our community that would access it normally.
Yeah, but I mean, like the point I'm driving, like it's to just get yourself out there and be in the public eye and be like, even if it's just dude, I can't even count on my fingers anytime I've seen a quadriplegic or a paraplegic at a restaurant.
Yeah.
But like the more and more exposure people have, and it's like, just go ahead and get out there, and then the public's gonna start saying, hey, oh, this is an actual demographic.
Right.
That we have.
And that's why I challenge people like us, disabled veterans, people with disabilities, that go to large sporting events like the Veterans Games or races or all these things, where people will actually ask because they've seen multiple people in wheelchairs and they go, oh, is there a race going on or something? What are you guys doing?
Olympics?
Is it the special? Don't roll your eyes at them and say, no, explain to them what's going on. Tell them that we're here for a sporting event, that we compete, and there's hundreds of us here.
Be an ambassador.
Yeah. Don't just roll your eyes and say, fuck off, to people who ask questions. If people are asking questions, they're actually fucking curious. Answer the question.
Well, it doesn't always happen every time, but every now and then, you'll run into a couple like in an elevator and they're like, oh, what are y'all in town for? And you're like, oh, wheelchair rugby tournament. Be like, oh yeah, well I ain't got shit going on tomorrow. What's going on?
Well, come out and see it.
And they will. Yeah, it doesn't happen all the time.
I've done it multiple times.
But I want to say maybe 1 out of 10 minimum. They'll be like, oh shit, yeah, I ain't got shit going on. I'm gonna go check it out. Like I want to see some dudes in wheelchairs beat the fuck out of each other.
Yeah, or just even if you can just explain to somebody in the elevator or on the in the airport what's going on, and that there's hundreds of people or wheelchair athletes, they'll actually understand that this is a demographic. This is an actual group of people.
That's what I love about the rotating nature of the vet games.
Yeah, different city.
It hasn't been in the same city since I've been playing.
Me either. Yeah.
No, it really hasn't. And
I'm at 12.
I kind of equate us to like being like the traveling circus, but whatever. Let's just be that circus. But every time we invade a city and like 500 to 600 wheelchair athletes takes over a city, we're going out to the restaurants.
It's education. It really is for the rest of the people. It's a good
exposure just to say, hey, there's a whole other demographic, and like the wheelchair parking spots isn't just for old folks.
Right. These people that you may see one or two of in your city, there's 600 of us spread across the country that actually are affected by these same things.
Totally. Yeah. No, it's really great to just be a part of that experience. And I never
like we said, we had no idea.
Growing up in Oregon, I was just like, every person in a wheelchair is retarded.
Exactly. That was my same experience, and it's unfortunate that we felt that way. But my kids, your kids, when you eventually have kids,
don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby,
are going to be exposed to
dude, knock on wood, motherfucker.
A whole another level.
I'd say another 10 years.
10 years? What, you're 31 now?
32.
32? 40? You're going to have 42?
That's fine. I'll be all right with
Your
that.
kid will graduate high school when you're 60?
I'll be all right with that. Yeah, and they're gonna have my my grandkids when I'm old enough to care
80.
about them, but like I'm gonna die before they fuck up their life.
That's excellent.
So that's perfect. That's just perfect for me. No, I don't know, man. Eventually, I'm gonna have kids. Like I do want to pass life lessons on, and I'm doing that now through my nieces and nephews.
I think you're doing that now through your podcast too.
Yeah, for sure.
You're sharing your experiences
through the podcast, and I'm one of the best things, man, that I love about like being with Oscar Mike is just being able to mentor some of the younger guys. So like Josh Birch, for example, he's one of our like little brothers that we get to fucking kind of bring him up through this world. That,
Yeah.
It's perfectly normal for guys like us because we've been in it for so long.
Yeah, there's nothing better than mentoring, a young athlete or
a freshly injured dude.
Yeah,
into the.
it really is like meeting a baby, introducing them to the world. It really is like
Just to show them how to do things again. You
well,
know,
because they're brand new to a whole new lifestyle of getting dressed and getting changed.
thing for me, man, is just to help them find their independence and be like, dude,
being able to transfer and drive and go to the
put
grocery
on
store.
pants and
Yeah,
fucking
exactly.
meet a chick at a bar and be like, or be that guy, be like, hey, that fucking girl over there, she been checking you out, dude. Go over there, fucking say hi to her.
Yeah, yeah. To push them to live their life to the full potential for sure.
Show them how it's done. Right?
Yeah. It is like being a father at that point for
Yeah.
sure. I have experienced that as well. Like being a mentor to other people with disabilities is like being a father.
Yeah, no, that's honestly, man, like I would say it really solidified and clicked at the Jacksonville tournament when people were telling me that they listened to the podcast. I got an Instagram message from a Irish dude who listens to the podcast and fucking loves it, and I was just like, oh, like the reach that we have is actually pretty incredible.
Yeah.
And I was just like, why I'm gonna play rugby until I can't anymore, physically can't travel because of health reasons, and that's gonna come to a certain amount of extremes because I'm gonna push it.
Right.
But the reason I'm always gonna be involved with the USQRA, man, is because of the community. It's because of dude,
the ability to show other people that life goes on.
Well, I get to travel the fucking country, and I can couch surf from Oregon all the way to Florida. Right. And if I need to go from Florida to Illinois, I got a middle place I can crash. And it's just like building that network of just like-minded individuals that I love hanging out with.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's good shit, man.
Man, I can't believe the whole Florida thing is going to be over here pretty soon. I got to start heading back up north, but
yeah, it's been a good trip.
It has. No, man,
Key West and South Florida and Tampa.
I was honestly never a Florida guy. I kind of hate on it cuz I felt like y'all kind of had it easy. It's like you guys got the weather,
the beach life. Yeah.
Yeah. No, dude, that's one thing was like a huge misconception was like I'm thinking Florida's like Miami. My exposure to Florida was like Miami, West Palm, Jacksonville, which is still southern but beach life enough.
Right. Not really south. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the funny thing about Florida is like the further you go north, the more south it gets.
Exactly.
But like, it's just crisscrossing circumnavigating Florida and just seeing how other people live. Because when you get inland Florida, it gets pretty hick.
It's very country. Florida is it definitely. I mean, we grew up on cracker. Florida cracker is a thing. Like people who are born in Florida are called crackers because we used to raise cows. My grandparents were.
Is that how the? No, actually, I know how the name cracker started.
Cracking a whip. Owning slaves.
It was about cracking whips.
Yeah, but Florida cracker was actually owning cow farms and raising cattle. And people don't realize that there's a lot of fertile cattle land. My great grandparents.
Oh, dude, this whole thing's a swamp.
Yeah, my great grandparents owned a T.G. Lee farm, which is a milk farm where they owned milk cows, and sold the meat for cows and sold the milk and had butter and like that's where my family came from. I'm a 5th generation Floridian.
Yeah, that's
great. My great grandparents.
What's that go down to? Years that?
It's
18's what?
1891. My grandpa came here from Cuba and my grandma came from Germany, and they met here in Florida.
Oh shit! So you got some Latino in you.
Yeah. Cuban.
That explains the karaoke.
Yeah, exactly.
Boy loves to sing.
Yeah, so Cuba, Germany, and then my mom's side was Scots Irish and British, and they all
Oh
came together
wow.
here in Florida.
I love that diversity because, like, I just found out I'm pretty much just fucking Laotian.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
Laotian, Thai, a little bit of Chinese.
a complete mutt.
I'm
From,
sure I got some Mongol in me, but
yeah.
everybody does.
But your eyes are almost closed now, so you're good.
Dude, what's crazy, man? Like, I've been listening to some like the Dan Carlin podcast about the Mongols,
Yeah.
and it makes sense with me about like with the warrior caste and why I just always been drawn to the military was I feel like I might have some more Mongol blood than other Asians
Yeah.
because I can't math right and like
You just feel like fighting.
I'm not really a smart Asian guy. I just like fighting. So
It's amazing how that stereotype came along. Like you just put put a Asian in front of some math, and he'll figure it out.
yeah, well, all the smart Asians I make up for them.
Because you're not one
The
at all.
dumbest one. Like my brother's smart as hell, but for whatever reason, man, I just got more Mongol blood, and
I am definitely one of those. I like to call myself a dumb smart white guy, because there are so many things that I can't do. Math is one of them. Like I'm absolutely terrible at math. I can barely do basic addition.
yeah.
But
I feel like you recall things.
I do. I have a great memory. Like if you sit me down and tell me to read a history book and tell me names and dates and stuff like that, I love it and I remember it. And a recipe, I can cook all day long and remember a recipe. But you tell me to write something or spell something, fucking forget about it.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I spell terribly. And my dad's the same way. And my dad is a construction genius.
Yeah.
Like he can build anything. He can.
Right.
He
yeah.
can.
Everybody's mind just works different. Right?
Yeah. If I feel like I've got a lot of my dad in me because I can remember things and do things, but I can't spell or write a paper for shit.
Oh, dude, I can't spell worth shit. Like,
absolutely.
And
terrible.
I don't like. I mean, Indians right now just dominate the spelling bee.
Yeah.
I don't get what that is, but they just.
I just don't get the connection of spelling, punctuation, at all. It's not my thing. But memory and recall. If I read something or if I write it or somebody told me, I can, answer the question on Jeopardy all day long.
Yeah, I'm the like my life skill is like I'm really good at recalling memory.
Yeah.
So like people would be like, dude, I don't know how you remember
Song lyrics.
Oh yeah, for
album
sure.
covers.
Yeah.
Like I can remember the picture of the album cover that from Third Eye Blind that the song was on.
Oh yeah,
like,
you talking about the eyeball thing?
Yeah, I remember things like that, and the people like, how the fuck?
You remember the first album you bought as a kid, or?
I do. Yeah, it was Eminem.
Oh damn, you were late in the game.
Yeah, well,
Eminem was
remember
like
I told you
posts.
I was Christian. I couldn't.
Oh yeah,
I was grown up in a Christian home, so I couldn't buy.
Let me think. My first album that I bought, I remember the first like single I bought was Coolio.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. Get your woman on the floor.
Nice.
Everybody get up, get down. But the first full length album that I bought, and this is so embarrassing to say, but it was the Bodyguard soundtrack. Yeah. Because I was down in Australia, and we had like me and my cousin Eric, like we would just be chilling at grandma's place, and like we couldn't really do nothing because like all the aunts were working, and like grandma was just fucking upstairs doing whatever, and like they brought us a box of VHS that we could look through, play. And some of the movies that we would watch was we'd always watch Field of Dreams, Jaws, 1, the original Jaws, and the Bodyguard. So I got really into the Bodyguard, and Kevin Costner became my hero. And Whitney Houston was like the greatest thing to fucking ever happen, man.
That's great, dude. I used to. Well, funny story. I was I used to sing that song in my shower when I was like 8 or 9 years old.
You ever see the movie with Adam Sandler, Bulletproof?
No, I haven't seen that
With
one.
Damon Wayans?
No,
That's a good one because he sings "I Will Always Love You" in the shower.
We used to have a window that opened to our backyard. We had like 3 acres when I was a kid, and I would open the window. I would sing that song in the shower. One time, I'm singing to myself in the mirror, and my dad comes up to the window and yells at me, "Ah!" And I just screamed at the top of my lungs. You scared the shit out of me, dude. I was singing Whitney Houston. He's like, "Dude, what the fuck are you doing?"
Right, man.
And I'm singing Whitney Houston.
Yeah,
it's great.
There's an old videotape of me rocking out to this. I had like this. I think it was like some kind of Disney guitar, like maybe Mickey Mouse or like a goofy guitar.
Right.
But my dad was in a band. He was a keyboardist in the band, and I was rocking out to La Bamba.
La 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 la
and,
Bamba.
They submitted it for American's Funniest Home Video back when
you
would actually submit videos of that. Because, like, I mean, I feel like now, like,
it's all YouTube and.
Well, does that show you
shit.
exist? Because you watch all that.
It's still on. It's still on.
Yeah, but like you watch all that shit on YouTube and.
Right, you've seen
Twitter
it before.
and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, he submitted it to fucking. Who was the host of it?
AFE back in the day. That was
Way
Bob Saget.
But yeah, it was
Bob
Saget. Yeah, it was Bob Saget. Way back in the day, man. Yeah, they submitted fucking me singing La Bamba, which was actually kind of funny because it was the #1 song when I was born.
The day you were born. Yeah, I think you
Yeah.
told me this before.
Because
Yeah, dude, I gotta see this video.
We
of you
looked that
singing
shit
La Bamba.
up.
That's hilarious.
We looked that shit up. One funny thing to do for all the listeners here is to just Google search Billboard top song and plug in your birthday.
Yeah, that's an excellent.
And then what's really funny too is if you go 9 months before your birthday,
find out what your parents were fucking to.
Find out what song you were conceived on. That's always a good one. I looked up mine one time. I forget what it is now, but it was pretty hilarious.
What you were conceived to, or what was your birthday?
La Bamba was my birthday, but I guess I was conceived right around Christmas time, 1986.
Right.
So are you looking it up right now?
I am. Yeah, I'm actually looking at mine. #1 song. April 26th, listed Billboard Hot 100.
Oh, dude, you had to have been some Madonna or something. That's right around. Either that or it's like some 2 Live Crew. John was getting down to some 2 Live Crew. I can see it.
My parents were, I don't know, man. Like, they were super religious, so I don't fucking know, man.
You think that, but they might
when
they became religious after you.
Yeah, after me, right? April 26th, #1 song.
It had to have been 2 Live Crew, dude. I'm gonna look up mine while you're doing that, but I feel like that just sounds so about right.
2 Live Crew. So what's your bet, huh? April 26th, 1985, #1 song. April, We Are the World was the #1 song.
Damn.
In April 26th.
Damn, that's like some unity.
We are the world.
That's some unity shit right there, dude.
Yeah, you were close though. In May, it was Crazy for You, Madonna.
Oh, okay.
You were close.
You could have been a postie.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of that preemie, you could have been a postie.
All right, so let's look at Conception. That would be August.
I'm trying to find 86, but nothing's popping up right now on this archive thing. But
1984.
now, okay, hold up. Let's get a little personal. What do you think little P. Hole was conceived to? In case she's ever listening to this here in the future.
I could actually.
Had to been something, right? It's like some Boys to Men or something.
I could tell you that pretty specifically what she was conceived to.
Oh yeah. Hook it up, homie. Hook it up.
Let me look here. Let me see exactly.
Oh man, let me take a guess though.
Yeah, take
Was
it.
it had been rock in the rock genre.
Yeah, you know me, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. It wasn't Limp Bizkit, was it?
No,
No?
no,
Linkin Park?
no.
Am I getting close?
A little more.
Blink 182?
No, no. A little more recent.
Oh, okay, recent but rock.
Yeah,
Oh, are
more.
we talking about Ed Sheeran?
No, kind of alternative, recent. They've got quite a few hits.
Alternative. Okay, hang on. Here's me. So this actually covers a couple good dates. So I was August 30, 87. So that put me conceived around November, that kind of time. It was either Boston, Amanda.
Amanda,
Yeah, I'm gonna take you by the hand and make you
Amanda.
understand, Amanda. Or Bon Jovi, you give love a bad name.
You
which
give love
which makes
a
way
bad
more.
name.
Yeah, and that's hook it up. That's November 29th, so that makes
Yeah, that's way
yeah.
better.
That was pops. My real dad definitely was a Bon Jovi guy. So for sure, I was conceived to give love.
Penelope is definitely Imagine Dragons baby.
Oh
Yeah.
wow! Which song?
Wake me up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, the
Not really familiar with that one, but
Night Visions or Radioactive. Radioactive.
okay.
Yeah, she's definitely Imagine Dragons baby.
Okay. Eh, nothing wrong with that one.
Definitely. There's no question. That was my jam right when Ash and I were conceiving. That was,
All right. All right.
yeah, Radioactive.
That's what's up. Are you what are some of the biggest concerns you have as like coming into the like crippled father world?
Yeah, I worry about cultural stuff more than anything. Like I don't worry about taking care of her. I feel like that's gonna come naturally. Like I feel like I'm gonna teach her the things that I want her to learn, and I want her to be well educated, and I want her to experience the arts and reading
Yeah.
and not being.
Well, you got the means too now to like travel.
Yeah, I don't want her to be
Show her the world.
I don't want to be overly exposed to social media and news and fear mongering. I worry about that, but yeah, I don't worry too much except for um I think that's my main worry is the overexposure to social media and
one of my biggest concerns with like my nieces and nephews is like, you know, all my cousins like they love videotaping him and posting it on like their Instagram stories and
yeah.
everything. It's just like like are we destroying the next generation's sense of privacy?
Yeah.
Because, dude, you imagine, like, I graduated high school. I remember when I was in high school and we got passed around a nudie of a girl.
Yeah.
And it was like a big deal, man. It was, I mean, this was only
And
in
now you
like
can
4
instantly
megapixels.
access
Yeah, this was only in like 4
100,000
megapixels.
naked girls in a second.
Yeah, I mean, even girls from your like high school and everything. And like the biggest thing that my biggest concern is just like, what kind of privacy are these kids gonna have? Like, are they gonna know any sense of privacy? Like,
Yeah, I
because like
do.
they're just so connected now.
I do worry about the overexposure of, you know, the idea of I have to show you how I feel about myself to make you feel good about
Right.
myself, kind of thing. And I think that starts at home. And I hope I'm right about this. That the idea is that Ash and I can make our child feel good enough about themselves at home to where they don't have to seek approval from everybody else.
Yeah, but it's like
That's my ultimate hope.
Right, but like I mean, even like having like that validation from social media,
It's an addiction. It really is.
it's almost a currency nowadays. Because I mean, okay, so like coming from like the wheelchair community, like we see it all the time where we know people have 50,000 to 100,000 followers on
Right.
Instagram, and they're out there posting quote unquote inspiration porn.
Right.
And like even in the rugby community where we know there's these girls that happen to be beautiful,
Right.
but they're projecting an image on social media that might not necessarily correlate to
So they're real life.
the what's really going on behind the scenes.
Yeah. Well, here's my question to you to answer that question is, do you think less of, do you, Tim Vixe, think less of me, Chris Hall, as a person because I don't have the same social media persona that
No,
somebody else
man.
does?
I don't at all. Like
Do you think that other people do?
I can see it happening.
Do you think that it's a percentage, a high percentage of
I,
people
I
that think more of somebody with a higher social media presence than I have?
I think it does happen, and there's more weight into how many followers you have in younger generations. There was okay, so there the and so my reasoning behind that is, I went to a concert last year. It was a John Mellencamp concert, and I don't know how many followers he has on Instagram, but my buddy that I took, who's maybe 3 years younger than me, but didn't grow up in the classic rock community,
Yeah.
was like, dude, I know like gun model Instagram bunnies that have more followers than John Mellencamp.
Right.
And I was like, that has no bearing.
That was my third question, and I'm glad you brought it to that. Do you think it matters?
I don't. I don't, but I know, and I hope I'm not, but I feel like I'm in a unique camp where the amount of Instagram followers you have has no bearing
I
on.
have no idea how many Instagram followers you have. I have
Yeah,
absolutely
I don't either.
no idea how any of my friends, none
Yeah,
of them, I don't know how many Instagram followers they have. I don't care. I've never checked. I've never counted. I
yeah,
don't give a shit about it.
yeah. That's how I am, and it honestly probably hurts the podcast, but I don't know how to play the social media game. But I use Instagram because I got off of Facebook back in November or so. Like
Yeah.
I'm done with Facebook. I still use Instagram, but the only reason I use Instagram is more like a fucking live photo album
Right.
of what I've done because I know one day like my memory's gonna slip me and
Yeah, yeah.
it's gonna be awesome to be able to just scroll back and be like, oh yeah, in 2017, like me and Chris
I
went to
think
fucking Abu
that
Dhabi.
I think that's the best way to use social media, and this is just my old man, fucking 35-year-old perspective. Is as a memory bank for yourself.
Yeah,
If you are using social media as a way to get attention or a way to make money or a way to promote yourself, I
which
think
let's don't get me wrong. Like if you're one of those struggling quads and you happen to be a hot, smoking, beautiful girl who's paralyzed, but you're killing it on Instagram
yeah,
and you're making money through sponsors, then
yeah,
hey, more power
I,
to you.
I think it's a, if you can make money that way, all power to you.
Right.
If you're trying to make money that way and you're failing and you're just struggling, I don't know. I honestly think it's the way I use social media is a memory bank for myself.
Yeah.
I'm
The
posting things that I enjoy. I'm posting pictures of my family and my friends, and I want to go back and look at them. I'm not really posting it for anybody else or any satisfaction.
I guess
I've got likes or people that like me.
I guess the issue that I have is like, don't project an image of someone that you're not.
Oh yeah, for sure. Don't be fake.
Right, like just keep it real.
If you're gonna expose yourself on social media and say, "Hey, this is who I am," 100%, then you have to show your vulnerability along with your highs.
Right.
If you're gonna show your highs and say this is me, you got to show your lows too.
Right. Yeah. Like I think that's how we almost kind of kill the stigmata of the disabled community.
Yeah.
Because it can't all just be sunshine and fucking rainbows.
Yeah, look at me. I went skydiving today.
Yeah.
Whippity-doo.
It's like, hey, look at me. Like,
I fart rainbows and my life is wonderful.
I haven't found her yet, but I'm still looking.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, it really is. I mean, there is those memes on Facebook or Instagram or whatever that say Instagram versus reality.
Yeah, that's on Reddit. That's a big one on Reddit.
It's always a big thing. Like, this is my life is so great, and then oh well, shit, I got 3 kids and I can't pay for their fucking breakfast. Like,
right? Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. Your life is not that great.
No, it's really interesting, man.
And I'll be honest with you too. Like, while we're talking on the podcast, my life is not that great. Like, I have fun and I have high points, but I have struggles as well. Like, there's days I hurt and I don't want to get out of bed, and my wife is angry and my baby's kicking, and things aren't always good.
Yeah, and there are some times where I'm just like, fuck, like life would be so much easier if I wasn't paralyzed right now.
Yeah, I didn't have to get my chair out of the goddamn car. It really does
suck when you feel like such a burden.
Yeah. You've got to ask people for help. Yeah.
That's the hardest one. I mean, especially like for me as like an independent person, like asking for help. Like, okay, so example A, like I'm going to be driving back up to Illinois. At some point on that road trip, I'm going to run out of diesel exhaust fluid. And for whatever reason, Chevy decided to put it underneath the hood. So there's no way that I can fill up that fucking fluid by myself.
Right.
So I
6-7 feet from your reach.
Yeah, I know at one point on this road trip in the next few days, I'm going to have to stop at a AutoZone, buy some DEF, and be like, hey, bro, can you help me put this in my car?
Yeah.
Which it sucks doing as a dude.
Who wants
especially
to be able
who,
to
like, I've been independent my whole life, man. And it's just like, it's going to suck, but I'm going to have to just swallow it and be like, ask for that help.
Yeah.
I've learned there's nothing wrong with it at all. Like, don't let your pride, to quote the great, poet group TLC, don't be too proud to beg.
Don't go chasing waterfalls.
Well, that too, but like, don't be too proud to beg.
Yeah, and the longer you get into a life of being disabled or needing help, it becomes a part of your life, and you realize that asking for help is not a weakness. It's actually a strength. Being able to expose yourself and saying, hey, man, I can't do this on my own. Please help me is a strength. And it really pushes you forward.
It really does. It keeps your ego in check, especially coming from like the community that you and I do. There's so many alpha males that come from the military, and then when they get hurt and they have to rely on other people, and they just can't bring it to themselves to admit that, like, hey, I am struggling right now. I need help with this.
Yeah.
And this isn't just like physical, but this is also like mental.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I can't do this right now. Like, I need help.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Well, and I
help
think
tote the line.
it's a male thing too. Not even just a military thing. Not even just a
That's a really good point because most guys that are spinal cord injured are males because
yeah,
men are
pride.
just stupid and we do dumb things and we
Yeah.
get hurt. But yeah, no, you're right, man.
But well, even beyond that is asking for help as a male. It's a thing that you're taught from being a child. It's like you're a man, do it yourself. Don't cry. There's no
Right.
crying in baseball. You fucking do it. And you
Tough get
don't.
going and all that.
And I feel like more and more our culture is becoming all right. You're a male. You can get upset. It's okay. You can cry. You can ask for help. It's fine.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a good thing to be vulnerable as a male. I really do.
Yeah.
I like it.
You know what really kind of like sucks for me is I was trying to think the other day when the last time I cried.
Yeah.
And I honestly cannot recall the last time I cried.
Yeah, you just don't get emotional, or you just don't you block it out. Or
I don't know, man. Sometimes I think my tear ducts are paralyzed.
Your watch is paralyzed too, Joe.
Sometimes, man, like I feel sad as shit, but the fucking waterworks in the eyeballs just don't get going.
I think you might be too stoned. Your eyes are just
No, dude.
your eyes are just too closed.
Like sad shit's happened to me when I was sober, and it was just like, I mean, I had an aunt recently just die, and like we were pretty close. Like she would come pick me up from elementary school and everything. Like we were super close.
Yeah.
She like introduced me to like old like Wham, like George Michael and shit, and like
Right.
I don't know when the last time I actually had tears come out of my eyes.
I see. I'm the opposite as a man. I'm a fucking crier, dude. I cry.
Really?
Like I'll cry at a goddamn commercial sometimes.
Oh, dude, I'll get emotional and everything.
No, I will actually tears coming out of my eyes at a goddamn cancer commercial on TV.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it hits me. Like I don't know what it is. Like,
dude, yeah. I don't know, man. I'll go to like, fucking war movies and rom-coms and
that's not me. Like war movie, rom-com, somebody dies, I won't even cry. But a fucking stupid commercial on the TV with just a little bit of emotion, somebody, I survived cancer.
Right, yeah.
Or the homecoming videos from the veteran fucking homecoming videos, those make me cry.
Really? All the time? Really?
Yeah. Like, my dad has been in Iraq for 17 months and surprise, he's home. That shit makes me cry.
I get emotional about all that,
but no tears.
It had, dude. No, my eyeballs haven't been watery in a while.
Want me to punch you in the nose? See if that helps.
You can try. No, dude. I don't know what it is, man.
Yeah, I've always been like I've shed a couple of tears. Like I'm not like bawling, like sobbing.
No. I get what you mean. Like I'll get emotional about stuff. I'm like, oh, dude, this is
it's upsetting,
super heavy.
But you don't cry. No tears coming out of your eyes.
No, like waterworks never.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
I get a couple every once in a while. Like I even hide it from my wife. Like we're sitting on the couch watching a emotional movie, and I'll have a couple of tears coming out of my eyes, and yeah.
No, man, it hasn't happened. I don't want to fucking like try to sound like
it's not hard or I don't think it's impressive.
It's weird. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's something maybe I'm dealing with. Like
yeah.
Where I just
it is one of those things where you're taught from a young age like men don't cry, like you're supposed to be emotionally strong, and I don't know if that's something that was instilled in you, but it was instilled in me, and I still feel weird about crying over things that are minorly emotional, but I do it, and
I don't know, man. I must have like just too much Mongol blood.
You just want to stab people.
I can't feel that part of emotion.
Yeah.
So, but dude, I think we just set a new record. We're well over 3 hours.
Are we really?
We can wrap this thing up anytime you want.
Hell yeah, man. All right.
No, man, it's been a great pleasure talking to you. I love this area of Florida, and I want to come back out soon.
For sure, man. Whenever you come and visit, we'll show you the historical DeLand downtown and have a good time.
Might even make it out to Casadega this time.
Yeah, sit on the devil's chair.
I'm down. We're gonna end the podcast on that one. But dude, thanks for having me out, man.
All right, Tim. It's been a great time.
Pleasure.
Thanks, bud.